This is likely just the start of a broad rethink in U.S.-European relations. German Chancellor Angela Merkel warned on Thursday that she can no longer count on the U.S. to protect them. She added, "This is time for Europe to take its destiny into its own hands."
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. UPI reports the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park will close on Friday because of potential steam and ashfall from the summit of Kilauea volcano. The National Park Service said in a statement, due to the possibility of a steam-induced explosion at the summit of Kilauea due to the receding lava lake and ensuing ashfall event, plus southerly wind patterns forecasted for Friday, the majority of the park will be closed Friday until further notice. We will reopen when it is safe to do so. Most of the park will be closed except for the Kahuku unit, which will be open for normal hours. The temporary closure of the Hawaii's Volcano National Park comes after the Kilauea volcano has been releasing toxic steam and lava for several days, causing widespread damage in the area. While Kilauea is normally an active volcano, the recent increase in activity has some experts predicting a large explosion soon. Hawaii Volcanoes Observatory Scientist-in-Chief Christina Neal told the Honolulu Star-Advertiser that scientists believe a small earthquake near the summit of Kilauea caused a large rock fall into the crater, which led to an explosion near the surface of the lava lake. Neal said, "I think it's our best estimation that this is the first of perhaps more events like this to come." For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the city of Los Angeles agreed on Thursday to pay $2 million to settle a civil lawsuit over the fatal police shooting of a homeless man in 2015 that went viral in an online video and fueled a U.S. debate on police tactics, according to a lawyer for the man's family. Dan Stormer, a lawyer representing the family of Charlie Africa Kunang, said the settlement came shortly after a federal jury in Los Angeles found that 2 police officers in the civil suit were liable for the death of the 43-year-old man. Stormer said in an interview, "The defense made an offer which we accepted. It was $2 million. The 8-person jury found that Officer Francisco Martinez had used unreasonable force against Kanang and that his superior, Sergeant Chand Syed, had failed to intervene. The jury cleared a third officer, Daniel Torres, in the deadly March 2015 incident. A spokesman for the Los Angeles Police Department said it would not comment on a civil suit. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office had previously declined to charge the 3 officers with criminal charges. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The American robin heralds the beginning of spring in temperate climates across North America. Its red breast makes it easily identifiable as the most disturbingly efficient murderer in the animal kingdom. Here, we see a robin rip a worm out of the ground with no moral hesitation whatsoever. This atrocity is but one in a series of cold-blooded murders this bird will commit in a single day. Although feces-fueled worms are themselves one of the most disgusting of all animals, the robin's cruelty remains indefensible. Some apologists might argue that robins need to eat worms to survive, but worms are capable of regeneration. So robins could satiate themselves on fractions of individual worms and leave the rest. But it does not. Unequivocal evidence of the robin's bloodlust.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Welcome to Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us on the radio here. Our toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And the Skype username here is LRN.FM. We also have Discord at the Discord on-air call-in line room, which you can join over at discord.lrn.fm. It's the top room there on our list of chat rooms in which you can go and chat with other Free Talk Live listeners and some of the hosts as well. Coming up here tonight on Free Talk Live, it looks like Facebook is actually planning its own cryptocurrency. But first, let's talk about the world of the fiat money, the government money. Chris is joining me here from thinkpenguin.com. Hey, Chris.
Hey,
thanks
how
for
you
coming.
doing?
Thanks for coming in here tonight. You've got an interesting story, which also, I don't think you knew this, but happens to be the #1 story on freetalklive.com as submitted and voted on by Free Talk Live listeners.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I got it from a different source, but it's not surprising to me. It's a very interesting story.
Well, the source may be the same. What's your source?
This is from The Guardian.
Okay, so according to, let's see, Celestrion's post, yep, The Guardian.
Okay.
So same exact source.
I suspect it's probably hit other publications as well.
Maybe so. But The Guardian's really good at breaking news like this. So
yeah, maybe they could be the original source in many cases.
They do good investigative journalism over there.
Yeah,
so what's going on in Down Under?
So the title of the article is Cash Payment Crackdown to Counter Tax Evasion and Black Economy. Australians will face a crackdown on cash-in-hand payments in an attempt by government to reduce money laundering and tax evasion. The Turnbull government has turned its attention to the black economy in an attempt to raise billions of extra dollars and intends to limit cash payments for purchase goods and services to $10,000. And I'm presuming now this is Australia, so it's not quite on par with the United States' dollar.
Yeah, I don't know what the exchange rate is at the moment, but it's still a fair amount of money.
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's not the same. I know that it's very rarely the same. It's not.
$1 Australian dollar is about 75 cents
okay.
at the moment.
So
75 US cents.
Yeah, we ship a lot to Australia, and I always know that there's a
slight difference.
There's a well, what's interesting about Australia is they have a tax, like a sales tax or an import tax duty, and on delivery, if the goods are under 1,000 Australian dollars, you don't have to pay any tax.
The recipient.
Yes, the recipient. So, but if it's over $1,000, they do. So it's quite an interesting system.
And that's an import tax or an export tax?
Import. So
okay.
anytime you buy something from
US
overseas,
tax is what you're saying. It's
no,
a US
no,
tax.
it's not a US tax. It's an Australian. It's a duty.
It's an export tax from Australia, is what you're saying, meaning that the product is leaving Australia, coming to the United States.
No, other way around.
Oh, it's shipping to Australia. Okay,
from the United States or another country.
I see.
And
Sorry,
usually a duty is where the receiver of goods from overseas has to pay a tax of some kind.
Okay.
And usually it's going to be if it's like Europe or someplace like that, or the United States or Australia or Canada, because there's certain agreements within these countries. It's just going to be whatever the local sales tax or equivalent is. Mm-hmm. If it's someplace like Brazil, there's going to be they use it as a trade barrier in order to promote their own internal markets. And again, Brazil is very socialist, so this isn't really too surprising. And it has some really bizarre effects on their economy as a result.
It does. Not good.
No, definitely not good effects. But in Brazil, it's like 60%. On top of the sales tax or equivalent, basically there. So you end up paying twice the amount.
That's crazy.
As you would like in the United States, as an example.
Okay.
So by
the way, I did the conversion here. 10,000 Australian dollars is worth about $7,500 right now.
So it's even lower than people might think.
Which just goes to show that these $10,000 numbers, because in the U.S. they have what they call cash transaction reports. If you go into a bank and you deposit $10,000 or more, then there's a form that gets filled out behind the scenes there. Or I guess it's not really that behind the scenes. Usually they ask you questions.
I believe you may even have to fill part of it out or answer questions.
You have to answer the questions. They fill the form out.
Okay.
So you don't actually get to see the form. But that's a $10,000, trigger as well, but it just goes to show that it's just an arbitrary number. It doesn't have anything to do with the value behind it, because 10,000 Australian dollars is valued at 7,500 US dollars, but in the US it's also a $10,000 figure, which of course would be 13,000 Australian dollars or something like that. So they're just picking a round number out of thin air and saying, well, this is the number we say has to do with criminal activity.
And it's funny because what people who are doing different types of like avoiding, like people avoid this $10,000 number all the time in the United States and around the world for that matter.
Which, if you're doing on purpose, could get you charged with a more serious crime.
But for the people who are willing to commit the crime in the first place, it's not an issue. So, and in other countries, they've dropped this $10,000 figure already. And I believe we've talked about this on Free Talk Live. Like in India, it's some ridiculously low number, or well, it was a little bit different actually in India. Now I'm thinking about this, where they basically got rid of large bills. So you don't have,
I remember seeing that story.
like $100 bills, and I think you don't even have $20 bills in India anymore. Like the largest bill I think is like maybe $5
so
or even
stupid.
less.
They did that here when they got rid of the $500 and the $1,000 bill.
They did do that in the United States.
Yeah. And the ostensible reason was to crack down on drug dealing.
And it didn't work.
No.
They simply they move to smaller bills. So it costs a little bit more to move money around.
It takes a little longer to count it.
Right. You increase the cost of the criminals, but then the prices simply go up a little bit on the goods.
As though the multi-billion-dollar drug cartels can't afford a cash counting machine.
Right. If you don't
or
let
five of them.
If you don't let criminals use the government banks, then the criminals will simply set up their own banks. I mean, this is just how it works. And if you outlaw cash, they'll simply move to some other cryptocurrency or some other foreign currency that you don't have any control over.
Yeah, I mean, clearly all of the crackdowns that they've attempted on the war on drugs have been abject failures from top to bottom. And, all the financial ones really just seem to end up getting innocent people caught, where you'll have business owners going to a bank account or going to their bank and depositing cash because they do cash business and they deposit cash every day.
Yeah.
But the amount of cash they deposit every day happens to be below $10,000. Well, then they trigger a suspicious activity report because they've been cashing.
The craziest thing about that is it catches more people. It wraps more people up in the system who are just trying to do
innocent business
under the government's own eyes, but
and then you got to prove you're innocent,
right?
Which is crazy.
It's absolutely insane.
And if you think I'm making it up, we've talked about these stories before where business owners completely oblivious. They weren't trying to get around the reporting requirements. They didn't know about it. It's not like the bank comes right out and tells you about the cash transaction reporting requements. They don't.
Right. And a lot of businesses, they want to make lots of small transactions because they don't want to have a lot of cash on hand. You have an individual taking it to the bank.
Sometimes more than once a day, they'll have a bank run.
Right. They don't want to get robbed.
Yeah.
And where you have a larger retail businesses, which might have a some sort of driver, armored car driver, pull up and take care of it and everything else. You don't have that with a smaller business.
Right. They got an employee who's running, quick down to the bank and then coming back.
You're literally taking and making it difficult for small business owners to operate.
Well, anything is worth it if we stop a drug dealer. We can inconveniencing every business owner.
It hasn't even stopped drug dealers at all. It hasn't even minimized it. It's gone up, not down, if I'm not mistaken.
If anything, yeah.
Yeah.
Drugs are as popular now as they ever were.
Yeah. All right, let's continue with the story here.
So Australia, they're saying 10,000 Australian dollars. If you're doing any transaction that's over that, you can't do it at all. In any legitimate business sense, if I'm going in to buy a boat or something like that,
you'd have to use a credit card or some other payment method.
Wow.
Which I don't know. I mean, I guess we could talk about it now. And this is insane. So for people who don't understand the cost of credit cards to the cost of the goods, there's roughly a 3% fee every time you go to use a credit card. Now,
that's right.
The business absorbs that fee, but it also results in the increased price on the goods,
which generally everybody has to pay.
Right.
They don't give you a cash discount because usually that's one of the terms in the credit card agreement is you're not allowed to give a special price for cash paying customers. So even though on a cash sale you get to keep the 3%, the customer's paying more than they otherwise should have to because you've inflated the prices based on the credit card.
Yep, and it's not just that 3% when we get back.
Yeah, there's more coming up here. 855, 450, free like freedom, Australian cash crackdown. You better believe this is going to come to more countries. It's Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Mother's Day sneaks up and we hit the panic button. We get suckered into online flower giants pitching $19.99 flowers that end up costing $60. Or we grab last-minute produce department flowers that smell oddly like green onions. That tells Mom you don't care enough to send flowers from the Bouqs. That's short for bouquet, and they're bouquing awesome. Bouqs flowers are as unique and special as your mom. They're freshly cut from Bouqs farms and delivered straight to your mom, so they last weeks, not days. Bouqs even has farms located on the side of a volcano that produce flowers so gorgeous Mom will post pics of them and brag about you. And because Bouqs cuts out the middleman, you'll get amazingly fresh flowers at an amazing price. Show Mom how much you care. Send her artisan design flowers from the Bouqs. Order today and get an extra 15% off when you enter code FTL. That's BOUQS.com. And remember to enter FTL to save an extra 15%. That's Bouqs.com, BOUQS.com. And remember, code FTL saves an extra 15%.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at Zencash.com. That's Zencash.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733, and Skype username here is lrn.fm. Plus, we've got the Discord on-air call-in line room over at discord.lrn.fm, and you can get on the air with us in any way that you prefer. With you here tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
By the way, I do want to let you know, for those of you who are procrastinators, you've waited until the last moment to get your mom some flowers for Mother's Day, which is coming up on Sunday. Now, I got to say, I was thinking, no way is it possible that you could get delivery before Sunday. by going to Bouqs.com over at Bouquet. That's short for bouquets, BOUQS.com, which is our new flower advertiser here that we've been promoting this year. And I was shocked to see that there are some markets where they actually offer same-day delivery. So Saturday delivery is available in some markets. So what you have to do is you have to put in the destination zip code of where the flowers are going to be shipped to. And so, for instance, Keene doesn't qualify. That's where we live here in the southwestern corner of New Hampshire. But I just put in like 90210. That's one of the zip codes I know, right, from Beverly Hills. I just put that one in there. And they've got same-day delivery in Beverly Hills. So depending on where your mom lives, you might actually be able to get her flowers before Mother's Day. Otherwise, you're probably going to have to be a little late. They do have Monday delivery available at this point over at the Bouqs. So go to BOUQS. Again, it's short for bouquets, and these bouquets are bouquing awesome. And the Bouqs flowers are as unique and special as your mom, cut from Bouqs Farms, fresh and delivered straight to her. So they last weeks and not days. You get 15% off when you use code FTL over at Bouqs.com. BOUQS. Again, code FTL, like Free Talk Live, to save 15%. If you're listening to us live here on Friday night, you got to get your order in as soon as possible. You can either get it Saturday if your mom's in the right place, or the earliest for most of you, probably going to be Monday at this point. BOUQS.com. Chris, you're telling us about the $10,000 limit, but you were actually, or this is a $10,000 cash limit in Australia gone into effect for any retail, any sales, any business transaction. You just cannot use cash now in Australia, according to this.
That's my understanding of this, yeah.
You had some more information about credit cards, maybe that people don't realize. Like you had mentioned that 3% is the typical kind of rate for what a business is paying out of any sale that the customer uses a credit card for, meaning that the business takes only 97% in of that sale.
Right.
But you said it's actually maybe more than that in a sort of hidden way.
What people don't understand is that there's actually other fees. Like there's a monthly fee usually
to have the credit card
just to have
service.
the equipment, right? Like it actually is quite expensive. I believe I was quoted like $300 or $500 at one point from a bank. Now, there's other systems that aren't quite as expensive, depending like if
per month.
Yeah, I believe so. Now that's to have like like a card reader, like like a real business card reader that you might see. Like at a small retail shop. All right. But there's also there's like virtual terminals and things like if you do phone orders that might be $30 a month. And there's other types of services like maybe Square, for instance. I don't know what they charge, but you'll hook up a little adapter to a phone or something like that, and that's probably not as expensive.
Okay.
But anyway, the point that I'm making is that, yeah, there are other fees associated with that, and that's not including that 3%. So on top of that, there's another – it depends on the business, but you can have as much as like a 3% loss as a result of credit card fraud. So trying to force businesses that accepted cash prior to now move over to accepting credit cards or some other, digital, payment method, right. Most of them have fees like this, and they have a fraud cost, and they have so now you have a 6%, probably like a minimally like 6% increase in cost of doing business.
That's a huge
then
chunk.
Gets passed on. Yeah, it is passed on to the customer. And
is that true for your business? I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I'd be happy to talk about it.
Because you do mail order sales of Linux privacy related hardware.
And we have different prices for Europe and the United States because of things
based on fraud?
Not so much based on fraud, actually, but based on government regulations,
right?
Which increases the cost of doing business. It's sort of like.
Hold on, before you go on, do you like geolocate your user by IP address, or do you wait for them to put in their address?
It's based on the shipping, the destination. So
the price of the unit is the same per country, but then the shipping cost goes up or down based on.
Well, there's different shipping options for different countries because we actually ship out of the United Kingdom to people in Europe. So because
that just makes more sense.
Yeah, so we actually charge less on the shipping in Europe, but the actual cost of the items is higher.
Okay.
And it's the reason for that is because of the higher costs of warehousing, employees,
all the regulations you've got to jump
all the
through.
Regulations that have to be jumped through.
It's that much worse over there.
It's significantly higher. Yeah. I mean, I'm talking like I don't want to say twice as much, but
Really?
it's significantly higher. And people
like
don't
1.5 times.
Yeah,
at
and
least.
it's interesting. We used to get. Well, I don't want to say we used to. We still actually get people from time to time, getting being outraged at how we charge more in Europe than we do in the United States. And I have to explain to them that
At the same time, though, I bet they're socialists and they love all
they
their
are.
government programs.
They are. I have to explain to them that the reason the prices are higher is because in the United States, for one example is, for instance, in the United States, sales tax is added on at the end of a purchase. So the prices that they're seeing are even lower in many cases. They're actually higher than they actually perceive them to be. So now, in a case of a small business like ours, we only operate from one state, and we just happen to operate from a state that doesn't have sales tax. But in other states, for instance, like when we were operating out of New Jersey, we had a 7% sales tax there that we were forced to collect.
So wait, you had to collect sales tax on every sale, even from people outside of New Jersey?
No, just for people in New Jersey.
I see. But now you don't collect for New Jersey?
We don't, because we don't operate in New Jersey anymore.
Sweet.
Right.
That's got to feel good after all those years.
But the point here is that when you add 7% on at the end, and users are seeing a price that's 7% lower than on the product itself, there's a higher perception that there's a bigger difference than there actually is. So in some cases, there really is that big difference, because in some states we don't have a sales tax in the United States. Mm-hmm. And if you order from a company that doesn't operate in your state, then there's also not a sales tax that is collected by the merchant anyway. Technically, you're supposed to pay that use tax, I believe, in most states, but nonetheless,
the customer's supposed to.
Yeah, which never happens.
That requires the state to conduct an investigation and somehow
there's no
figure out.
means of enforcement in any
It's
state.
self-reporting, if anything.
Yeah. So no, but in Europe, when there's a tax, the tax is included. Basically, it's called VAT, value-added tax, and it's included
what a terrible name.
in the price of the product itself. So it seems higher than it is, because if we added 7%.
Now wait, is VAT included? Okay, so I know VAT is at all levels of the product's sort of creation and transmission. So like the manufacturing, the wholesale, and the retail. Is retail included at the price, or do they tack a VAT on the receipt at retail in Europe?
You get to write off the VAT that you pay, and then you charge the VAT on the total of the product that you sell. It's something along those lines.
But I'm just wondering, does the customer actually... I know you were saying, like, obviously the wholesale and the manufacturing VATs are included in the final cost.
Yeah.
But is the retail VAT, the final VAT, included on that receipt? Do they see that one, or is that one sort of hidden in the...
No, it's hidden in the price of the product. That's why it's so outrageous to people.
It's Free Talk Live.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
Who told you can go this way? You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video or audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. You ain't going to make it. Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement, and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free to join us if you want. You can talk about whatever's on your mind. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live is brought to you by Bitcoin.com. You want to do some Bitcoin mining, but you don't have the technical chops to be able to set up your own mining rig? Well, they can help you over at Bitcoin.com. Go to pool.bitcoin.com and you can join their Bitcoin mining pool. And they do have two different types of Bitcoin that you can mine. There's Bitcoin Core, aka BTC, and then there's also Bitcoin Cash, or BCH, that you can mine. It's up to you which one you prefer over at pool.bitcoin.com. I've got a Bitcoin Cash miner going on right now over at pool.bitcoin.com. And if you want to do them both, you can do them both. It's just completely up to you. Pool.bitcoin.com. And if you do know what you're doing when it comes to setting up a mining rig, you can still join the Bitcoin.com mining pool. So again, go to pool.bitcoin.com. Whether you are a Bitcoin expert at mining or a total novice, they can get you started. Pool.bitcoin.com. We're talking about currency, but the old style, the fiat money over in Australia, where they're now saying that if you want to do any kind of business for $10,000 Australian dollars or more, well, sorry, you're going to have to use a credit card or a check or maybe cryptocurrency, but they're definitely saying you can't use cash anymore. That's the new news, according to The Guardian. And Chris, was there more that you wanted to share from the story?
Yeah, so I'll just give you people an idea on the difference in price between the U.S. and Europe in terms of cost. For $3.25 a package that it costs us in the United States to ship, it costs about $16 in Europe. An item that is $25.
That costs you $16 within Europe, just to be clear. You're shipping from the UK
to customers.
Yeah.
With an item that costs $25 in the United States costs $44 in Europe.
Damn. Is that with or without shipping?
That's without shipping.
Without.
That's without shipping.
So that's with all the VAT taxes included.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course, value-added tax makes it sound like the tax is adding some value, but of course we all know that's not true. Taxes don't actually add any value. They, detract from the value in the statement or in the situation, because if there were value, then the customer would be able to hold on to that value. Instead, they're just taking away value from the customer and putting it in the hands of bureaucrats. And then, of course, the bureaucrats spend that in whatever way they want to, and you don't usually see a penny of it.
Nope.
Was there anything else about the ban? Like, what are the criminal penalties? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, I mean, there's more to the story here if you want to keep going.
I'm curious to know more about it.
Let me just keep reading. I mean,
it's outrageous to me.
Yeah, the measure was announced on Tuesday's budget, which introduced a suite of tax integrity measures aimed at individuals and companies. The black economy undermines community that in the tax system gives some businesses an unfair competitive advantage, puts pressure on margins of honest businesses. It often includes exploitation of vulnerable employees through the underpayment of wages and loss of entitlements, said Kelly O'Dyer, the financial services minister.
I don't understand what underpayment of wages.
I don't know what that has to do with it. It doesn't. I don't think it does have anything to do with it.
The black market. I mean, she's blaming the black market for underpaid employees.
It doesn't make any sense. The government's largest black economy measure is a crackdown on illicit tobacco, which expects to raise
illicit tobacco.
I feel like I'm reading a whole different article now. 3.6 billion over the next 4 years.
What is the word ilsa?
Oh, illicit.
Illicit okay.
Tobacco. It says the three main sources of illicit tobacco in Australia are smuggling, leakage from licensed warehouses, and illicit domestic production.
Now look at that. That alone is an interesting, issue, because we've looked at that here in the United States back when New York City, most notably, raised its cigarette tax prices up as much as they did.
Yep.
The price of a pack of cigarettes went up to like $10 to $15.
And then people started selling them on the street, right?
Well, they were always sold on the street, but more of them were sold on the streets. The government had to. They formed a. They didn't have to, but they did. They formed a cigarette interdiction squad to run sting
sounds
operations.
So ridiculous.
I mean, but that's what you would expect, right? It's prohibition, so they bring out the old prohibitionist tools. You got to have a police force specifically designed to go after cigarette sellers, and then of course they end up choking that man to death in the streets over selling some loosies.
Are you
several years
really?
ago?
Wow,
you didn't see that story?
I don't know if I saw that story.
I'm sorry, I don't remember the dude's name, but it was all over the news. We talked about it here on Free Talk Live.
I know.
Undercover.
I've heard of numerous stories about police choking people to death, but I did not. I don't know if I heard about that one.
This was pretty noteworthy because I believe it was caught on video. And
was it?
So it was particularly egregious because of that. And that guy's dead. That man who was just trying to sell some cigarettes to put some food in his family's mouth. He's dead now.
Yeah, I believe there was a common practice that used to occur. I don't know how long ago, but probably in the 80s or 90s or whatever. And it's been outlawed since. But I guess there's still cops doing it. And so there's been stories recently about people dying from basically choked to death.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, because, all the cop has to say is he was afraid for his life, and that's why he had to take somebody else's.
Yeah.
You got more?
Yeah. It will, let's see here. It will introduce permits for all tobacco imports, except tobacco imported by travelers within duty-free limits, and require tobacco importers to pay all duty and tax liabilities upon importation. So it's not, it sounds like? This sounds like to be part of a larger attempt to crack down on
the black market.
Yeah, the black market, right? Let's see here. Let's see if there's anything else.
Because there's only so many. Well, first of all, it was already illegal to spend $11,000 on drugs. It was already illegal to spend $11,000 on illegal tobacco. So that hasn't changed. What they're doing is they're affecting legitimate business people who are trying to sell a product. So car dealers can no longer sell a car to somebody with cash.
Yeah,
basically.
and looking at it another way, it's potentially a 6% additional cost on top of the 6% that we already have, because now if I'm a merchant and I have to use a credit card in order to buy, when I purchase the merchandise from another company,
you're taking a hit there.
I'm taking another 6% hit, so it's like 12% potentially.
Right. And it's one thing if you lose a $5 sale to fraud. It's another thing if somebody drives a car off the lot and then their credit card turns out to be stolen, or whatever it is that they ended up using, or maybe they used somebody else's bank account or whatever. But if you've got cash in hand, that's probably not counterfeit. You've got ways of checking the cash to see if it's counterfeit. So a business that's selling a $10,000 product has an interest in taking cash because they're going to save the 3%.
Especially local businesses.
Absolutely.
It's the small businesses that are going to be affected by this the most. It's not, it's not the mega corporations. The mega corporations they have other means of, avoiding some of these fees, but the small business, who may be purchasing a smaller quantity of goods, whoever they're buying it from, the easiest means of purchasing those goods, before may have been cash. Now they're going to have to use some sort of credit card or other means that's going to cost them more.
Or maybe this is a good chance for local businesses to look into cryptocurrency, because I understand that, before cryptocurrency, I don't know if you remember this, Chris, but there was this kind of fear in some of the survivalist or liberty communities that cash was going to go away, that the government and the big banks wanted to end cash, and there was a lot of evidence for it, right? Like you could find plans by these big government people.
It seemed almost unbelievable, like a crazy conspiracy theory at that time, but it's happening. It's those crazy conspiracy theories.
This is
are
part
no
of that.
longer. Yeah,
right. This $10,000 limit is absolutely part of that. And but the good news is that cryptocurrency, even though initially Bitcoin, which was the first one that came out, is a public ledger, meaning that everything is public with Bitcoin. Every transaction you can look at it, you can see. You don't know who it was necessarily unless that person reveals which address is theirs. So it's sort of pseudonymous. You can use it in a semi-anonymous manner, but ultimately the entire thing, the ledger itself, is public. We're seeing more privacy coins come out now, like Zencash or Monero and many of their competitors, which are driving towards privacy, which means it's going to be that much harder for government tax groups to be looking and scrutinizing blockchains. So the fears about, oh no, cash is going to go away, that's going to stop anonymity. Well, cryptocurrency is better than cash for anonymity. And let's talk about that a little bit more coming back here in a moment. Why is crypto, the anonymous types, the private types, why is that better than cash? 855-450 free like freedom. You can take control of the airwaves and join us on the radio. It's Free Talk Live.
Mother's Day sneaks up and we hit the panic button. We get suckered into online flower giants pitching $19.99 flowers that end up costing $60. Or we grab last-minute produce department flowers that smell oddly like green onions. That tells Mom you didn't care enough to send flowers from the Bouqs. That's short for bouquets. And they're bouquing awesome. Bouqs flowers are as unique and special as your mom. They're freshly cut from Bouqs farms and delivered straight to your mom. So they last weeks, not days. Bouqs even has farms located on the side of a volcano that produce flowers so gorgeous, Mom will post pics of them and brag about you. And because Bouqs cut out the middlemen, you'll get amazingly fresh flowers at an amazing price. Show Mom how much you care. Send her artisan design flowers from the Bouqs. Order today and get an extra 15% off when you enter FTL. That's BOUQS.com. And remember to enter FTL to save an extra 15%. Bouqs.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you AMP Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can join us here toll free at 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is lrn.fm. Or you can join us on our Discord on-air call-in line room. Just go to discord.lrn.fm and hop on in there, get interactive with other Free Talk Live listeners as well. There's different channels in there, one for Free Talk Live, others for other shows on lrn.fm, as well as topic-specific channels like cryptocurrency. So we're talking about crypto on the air. You can talk about that around the clock if you want over with other Free Talk Live listeners at discord.lrn.fm. In fact, I learned today that I made a big mistake this week, or what could have been a very big mistake. I was talking about Monero earlier. I think it was earlier this week, and one of our listeners, I think it was Wordus, in the chat room, in the cryptocurrency room, said, "Hey, what you said was not true about Monero," and I was confused because it seemed true to me because it was my experience. So my experience was I had downloaded a version of Monero, and for listeners that don't know, it's a privacy coin. So we were actually going to talk about privacy coins, but I want to make this correction before we go on. So Monero is probably the most popular, most noteworthy of all the privacy coins, and it's the one the darknet markets have started to adopt. So to me, that's like the gold standard, if you will, of what should be done. Is if you're doing a good job and the darknet markets think you're doing a good job, that means you're doing a pretty good job. So I had downloaded the new version 12 of the Monero, or 0.12 or whatever, of the Monero software, and something was wrong. There was a bug with that software, and so I went looking for the previous version, the 11.1, and I typed in the wrong Monero website.
Oh, no.
And I typed in monero.org, which sounds like it would be the right website, but it's not. The actual official Monero website, I believe, is Get Monero, as in G-E-T. Get
Monero. No. So what did you download? What did you end up downloading?
So I downloaded...
Was it infected?
Well, that's the question. I mean, it was... If it were infected, it would only be like bad code. It wouldn't be a virus because I was on Linux. So it wasn't like a virus issue. But you
could still have like a Trojan of some kind potentially.
It could steal your private keys is what could happen, right? And so with cryptocurrency, for those that don't know, there's a set of public keys and there's a set of private keys with each cryptocurrency wallet. The public key is the one that you can give out to anybody so they can send you cryptocurrency. The private key is the one that gives you the ability to send from the wallet. So you don't want other people to have the private key. But if you get fake software that masquerades as the official Monero software and is actually, in point of fact, designed to steal your private keys, that could be very, very bad. And that's what he pointed out, because what I'd said on the air was that version 12 from the official Monero site was broken. That much is true. Like, there's some things about it for some people doesn't work. It doesn't connect to the daemon in the background that sort of runs the Monero blockchain transactions and all that, the full node. And so that's why I went back looking for the original or the previous version. And when I went to Monero.org, I found a site that looked like a Monero site that had the previous version on it.
I still want to know, was it a fork or was it malicious?
I don't think it was malicious. If it was malicious, they didn't do anything because they had my private key and they didn't empty the wallet.
Okay.
So that's the good news. That's what I found out today from our chatter in the chat room on discord.lrn.fm in the cryptocurrency room. He was like, yeah, what you said happened didn't happen, because what I said on the air was that Monero had pulled down their version 12 from their website and put back up version 11.1, and I figured that made sense because they screwed it. Something was screwed up with version 12. It wasn't just me that it wasn't working on, right? There were other people that were having the same problem on Linux. I don't know if it affected Windows or the other versions, but on Linux it wasn't working right. And so I figured, oh well, they just pulled it down and put the old version back up. But they didn't. On the official Monero site, it's been version 12 all along. It's just that I was on the wrong website, which could have been a phishing site. It could have been, a malicious site.
Yeah, you always got to be careful when you're downloading software that you're getting it from the right source. And frequently there's telltale signs of what the right source is.
Well, in this case, what I should have done was not actually trusted myself and trusted Google, because if I'd gone and typed in Monero into Google, then the first site would have been the official site. It would have been getmonero.org.
Yeah, most likely.
But I remembered monero.org. And so I went to monero.org. And when I looked it up today, I found discussions online saying that nobody knows who runs monero.org. The person, whoever it is, has not ever come forward. There's no evidence so far of any shifty behavior from the software that they have there. So it just looks like a site that has the old version of Monero on it.
Did you notice advertising on the site maybe? Or
I didn't notice.
I'm just trying to come up with a business model that might exist for that person.
They've got donation buttons.
They've got donation buttons. That's interesting.
So that could be it. But anyway, so of course today
sounds like maybe could potentially be somewhat malicious in a sense.
It could be just that they're trying to make money off the name,
right.
Or they're stealing private keys in order to later on, rake in everybody's all at once before they do a, disappear completely.
It could be something like that. It's when you install software and you realize it's potentially not what you intended.
That's a little freaky situation.
You want to back up those keys or not.
Oh yeah, I created a whole new wallet.
Keys, but create a whole new wallet and move the funds out after you've wiped the system out.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what that software is doing or might do down the road. It could just be a backdoor and at some later point, something bad's going to happen.
Now, is that true with Linux? Because I've always been told that Linux is super secure. Nothing can run without your permission.
It's super secure as long as you're not going and installing software from random sources. So,
well, now with Linux, I mean, a lot of the software install is it just unzips into a directory and you run it. It's not the same thing as installing it into a Windows system or something, right? If I just unzip a file with Linux files in it into a directory and then run that software, that's not in any means a install.
Some software is just basically exactly like you describe it. That's how they package it. And other software, no, it will install, somewhere. I mean, It sort of depends on how it's packaged.
Because you can't get virus scanners for Linux,
no,
right? Because viruses don't exist because the system's permissions are more strict and stringent with running things that could damage. Other things.
Essentially, the way Linux works is everything is packaged for you when you install the operating system, and it's already been scrutinized. And then when you go to install other software, most of that software is probably going to come from what's called a central repository or the software center. Sort of like a lot of people are familiar with iPhones and the Apple Store or the Android Store or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, we sort of have something like that. Linux invented that basically. And the difference between Linux and Android and iPhone is that the sources are available for the software in these stores. So we have a better understanding of what's going on and that it's not malicious. So it's already packaged for you and it's already safe. It's already been checked out. Now, if you install stuff outside of that, that's where you potentially could still get into trouble. So what you did was potentially risky and not something you would generally want to do if you can avoid it. cryptocurrencies. There's 1,000 different versions of them, and even on Windows and any operating system, you can't really be totally trustworthy of this stuff. Now, if you're looking on, say, like F-Droid, the only F-Droid is a version
but just to
of
be
Android.
clear, like taking questionable software on a Windows system is much more dangerous, though, is it not? Because like Linux has, as I understand it, there's a much more granular level of security, meaning that whenever you run certain software on Linux, you always have to put in like a password, a system password, in order to even run that software.
But once you're entering that password, you're saying, if it's from a third party, you're saying that you trust that source.
Run that code.
Right.
But can that code deliver a Trojan that then runs automatically in the system without your permission? That can't happen, right, on Linux?
No, it could happen. The reason it generally won't happen is because the software, 99% of the software that you've got, so there's a few different problems. One, on Windows, not everything gets updated when the system updates. It only updates Windows, or there's different update mechanisms within Windows, so you have to constantly say yes to update everything. On Linux, it's updated by a single update mechanism. And we're talking about security vulnerabilities here, and we're not talking about installing random software. If you're installing random software outside the repository, you're potentially vulnerable. Now, you may have less, it's probably less likely that you're going to get, Linux is going to be targeted, but the potential is there, yeah. So I wouldn't,
The attacker wouldn't be able to do as much to a Linux system, though, correct? As a Windows
You're not going to get infected, so to speak, if you don't install software outside of the software center.
Right. But if you do, it's as risky as having Windows?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'd always understood Linux as being a much more secure environment generally than Windows.
It is, as long as you're not doing stupid stuff, so to speak.
Gotcha, like I did. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here, and we still have to talk about crypto privacy measures coming up.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com, or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of May 11th through the 13th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.80 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,325 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $31, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,580. Antiwar.com reports one major argument against the United States withdrawing from the P5+1 nuclear deal with Iran was the impact it would have on U.S. relations with the other parties to the deal, including European allies. This appears indeed to be the case as Europe scrambles to strike back against the U.S. measures, with the U.S. talking new sanctions and U.S. officials ordering European companies to stop doing business with Iran. The European Union is already discussing legislation that would effectively block the U.S. from enforcing those measures. This legislation is believed to echo the 1996 legislation the EU used to block U.S. sanctions on Cuba from preventing EU business ties. Since the Iran deal was signed, EU companies have been scrambling to secure lucrative infrastructure deals. The United States largely prevented its own companies from reaching such deals and has tried to keep EU banks from financial deals that had nothing to do with the United States. Europe was annoyed at this before, and now that the United States isn't even a party to the deal, they are likely to be even less willing to brook U.S. interference. This is likely just the start of a broad rethink in U.S.-European relations. German Chancellor Angela Merkel warned on Thursday that she can no longer count on the U.S. to protect them. She added this is time for Europe to take its destiny into its own hands. Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. UPI reports the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park will close on Friday because of potential steam and ashfall from the summit of Kilauea volcano. The National Park Service said in a statement, due to the possibility of a steam-induced explosion at the summit of Kilauea due to the receding lava lake and ensuing ashfall event, plus southerly wind patterns forecasted for Friday, the majority of the park will be closed Friday until further notice. We will reopen when it is safe to do so. Most of the park will be closed except for the Kahuku unit, which will be open for normal hours. The temporary closure of the Hawaii's Volcano National Park comes after the Kilauea volcano has been releasing toxic steam and lava for several days, causing widespread damage in the area. While Kilauea is normally an active volcano, the recent increase in activity has some experts predicting a large explosion soon. Hawaii Volcanoes Observatory Scientist-in-Chief Christina Neal told the Honolulu Star-Advertiser that scientists believe a small earthquake near the summit of Kilauea caused a large rock fall into the crater, which led to an explosion near the surface of the lava lake. Neal said, "I think it's our best estimation that this is the first of perhaps more events like this to come." For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the city of Los Angeles agreed on Thursday to pay $2 million to settle a civil lawsuit over the fatal police shooting of a homeless man in 2015 that went viral in an online video and fueled a U.S. debate on police tactics, according to a lawyer for the man's family. Dan Stormer, a lawyer representing the family of Charlie Africa Kunang, said the settlement came shortly after a federal jury in Los Angeles found that 2 police officers in the civil suit were liable for the death of the 43-year-old man. Stormer said in an interview, "The defense made an offer which we accepted. It was $2 million. The 8-person jury found that Officer Francisco Martinez had used unreasonable force against Kanang and that his superior, Sergeant Chand Syed, had failed to intervene. The jury cleared a 3rd officer, Daniel Torres, in the deadly March 2015 incident. A spokesman for the Los Angeles Police Department said it would not comment on a civil suit. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office had previously declined to charge the 3 officers with criminal charges. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The total loser's corpse contained no traces of drugs or alcohol, and a superstitious Delta Airlines adds busty mermaids to its plane noses. My friend, you look like you are in need of the world's finest internet news summaries. Please come in and warm yourself by the fire of knowledge. This is the Onion Week in Review. A new law passed in Colorado this week will allow residents with a doctor's prescription to purchase medicinal fireworks, saying that those in need of stargazers, firecrackers, and Galleria highlights now need only obtain a doctor's prescription. State officials expressed hope that the law would ease the suffering of those in need of huge, dazzling explosions. And in this week's op-ed pages, a man notes that, like it or not, we all die, then get dug up and molested. In other news, white male privilege is squandered on a job at Best Buy, and a local TCBY has missed the past 2 logo changes. Well, that's it for now. Goodbyes are bittersweet, my love, so I'll only tell you, for more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. You can dial in toll free and join us here on the radio. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
We've been talking a little bit about cryptocurrency. We actually started out talking about the Australian government cracking down on large cash transactions. It's now illegal, apparently, anywhere in Australia to do any kind of business for over 10,000 Australian dollars.
As of like January 1st of 2019, I think it said.
In cash. So if you want to buy a car in cash, apparently you need to do that this year before January 1st. Otherwise, it's going to get to be, an illegal activity to purchase anything with cash there.
I do have to wonder what the consequences are. Is the article didn't actually cover that?
Well, I suspect it would be, the equivalent of some sort of federal criminal charge.
Like a serious criminal offense.
It may be a charge for the dealer as well. So if the dealer accepts cash,
like the car dealer,
then they may face. They may be all on the dealer. That the onus of potential charges.
I have to wonder at that point how they would be catching it.
Undercover,
unless they do it.
Sting operations.
Yeah, that might be.
They might catch wind from somebody that such and such car dealership took cash from them, some sort of snitch or whatever.
I guess if a car dealership is depositing almost any amount of cash, is probably an indication that...
Sure, then the bank could snitch them out. Why are we getting all this cash from the car dealer?
Yeah, I mean...
Although people could still pay their service bills in cash, so they could, in theory, have more than 10 grand in a day.
That's true. I mean, the kind of stuff that the IRS does is they have an idea on how much should be coming in, though. So I'm not sure if they would be able to get away with that, because there's a difference between the service part of a business and selling cars. And if the service part of the business is bringing in more money than they should, if that's where you're claiming the cash came from, that might still be a tip off as far as, some sort of government bureaucrat trying to come after you.
So that's where we started the show. And then in the last part I had wanted to cover, and we ended up talking about operating system security. Maybe Linux isn't as secure as I had once thought it was.
It is. It's just not... look, I mean, it's sort of like this. You're still... That software you downloaded, it probably is fine. It's just we don't know. And there's the potential for it to be malicious, even though it probably isn't.
Right. And without rehashing what we talked about before, generally Linux considered to be a more secure system. There's, pretty much viruses don't exist for it. Now, you said that that's because not as many people are on it, but also because of the security behind the scenes in Linux.
It's not because it's not really because there's not enough people on it. Because look at it this way: most of the internet is run on Linux.
The
servers.
Business side is mostly Linux.
So it's not that there's not a lot of users out there. I mean, think about it this way: servers, powerful servers with huge internet connections. Are going to be a prime target. If it was so vulnerable, you would see viruses and things like that. But that's not what's going on. Sure, there's exploits and things like that. But if the user or the administrator of the server maintains the security, meaning they apply the updates, which are going to automatically occur. There's a single window that comes up in Linux that says, would you like to update? And it will update everything, all the critical pieces of your system. On Windows, you don't have that. You have many different programs. And half the time, you'll see a pop-up, and somebody will say, something about security updates, and the person will click yes and download a program and get
it's
infected.
Malware.
Right. You will not see that on Linux.
Yeah.
It will never happen. The default settings in LibreOffice, which is a sort of like Microsoft Office equivalent.
It's the free version.
Right.
Of
if you open a Word document from somebody, it's not going to automatically execute a macro to infect you. So, it's absolutely a lot more secure. I'm not going to say, and there's different versions of Linux, so there's some that are even more secure than this.
Right.
But your typical distribution like Canonical
I've got Linux
or
Mint
Ubuntu,
right now.
or Linux Mint, it's not one of the super secure distributions.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
I'm liking it. It's the first time I've experimented with Linux over the years, as far back as like the year 2000. Every now and then I would just install some version of Linux.
I've never seen anybody infected, just to be clear, with any kind of real malicious software outside of the web browser. So
in Linux,
yeah,
it happens all the time. With
and
Windows.
this is my job. I do this every day. I've been doing it for 10 plus years. It's a pretty good indication.
That's a pretty good endorsement right there of Linux. But I wanted to say that I started tooling around with Linux back in the year 2000, and it was just a mess. It was hard to change screen resolution.
A lot has changed.
And it is so much
changed.
better now. It is so much better. It took 20 years, but here we are. And so, there's, it's free. Linux Mint and these other ones. Ubuntu is also very popular. Some of them are more graphically oriented than others. Some of them are still like in the command line.
There are huge differences between different versions. Like, it's funny. Like, people are, they get it, they use it, and they think, oh, this is hard. Well, yeah, because you probably picked a version that wasn't well suited for you. Mm-hmm. But you can get versions that are exactly, or not exactly, but very similar to Mac OS X or very similar to Windows.
Linux Mint reminds me of Windows.
Very much like Windows.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there's something called Elementary OS, which is very much like Mac. So if you like the pretty graphics and things that Mac has,
they got that.
Yeah, so...
So yeah, there you go. That's my endorsement for Linux. I think it's finally like to the point where the average person could install and run it. Because I'm above average. I'm fairly technically adept.
I would say about 80% of the population is probably going to be okay on Linux today.
Right.
As long as you're
just talking about basic word processing, web browsing, that's kind of typical.
It's probably about 80% of the population. But yeah, no, if you're not if you're the biggest problems that people run into with Linux are not Linux, they're actually with the hardware that they have. So
incompatibilities.
Yeah, compatibility and support and things like that.
But even that's so much better now than it was.
Right. Well,
so much better.
There's problems still if you just try and install random hardware. Most of the time, you won't realize it because the issue doesn't pop up right away, or it's like an issue that's like it'll take you a week before you notice it.
You figure it out. Okay.
Yeah. So there's still lots of potential issues there.
Sure.
But the good thing about it is that there is a source for hardware that is properly supported under Linux.
ThinkPenguin.com.
www.thinkpenguin.com. Printers, laptops,
so you
desktops,
don't sell
accessories.
hardware that won't work with Linux.
Yeah, I mean, basically, there's a lot of hardware.
You're vetting it.
Yeah, there's a lot of exactly. And we do a lot more than that. But there's a lot of hardware that's you can get from some of our less how do I say this respectable competitors, where it's basically no better than if you just install Linux on a random system.
Gotcha.
And I cringe there's a few companies that are more respectable, but.
Well, I installed it on a random system and it happened to work. So
and it may work for a while.
Right.
Usually, what you'll find is when things do work, you will have a situation at some point down the road where your printer will stop working, or maybe it doesn't work quite right, or you'll have a situation where the graphics will stop working or something like that when you go to upgrade from one release to another, and that's because the manufacturer of the hardware or the component that was used in that system, the sources aren't available, and so it can't be properly supported by the community.
Gotcha.
And it's the same thing happens on Windows, but most people never upgrade Windows, so they don't run into that problem. Where they'll run into it, but they won't run into it. They'll buy a printer.
Yeah, I've had
they'll
that
buy
problem
a new
with
computer
Windows.
6 months later, and then they find out their printer they bought 6 months ago doesn't work because there's not updated drivers for it.
Yep, I've had that happen with network cards.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, what it comes down to is when you pay attention to what you're buying and you get properly supported hardware, Linux is awesome when it comes to support. It's much better supported than Mac or Windows. We have hardware we have a lot of hardware actually that does not work in Windows. And you think, what do you mean it doesn't work? Everything supports Windows. No, it's because what happens is that you have something called a chipset, and this is like the core of a component, like a device. And there's on Windows, the drivers only get updated for so long, and any devices that are built around that chipset, when the drivers are no longer made available for newer versions of Windows, that hardware stops working. On Linux, because we have the sources, the community is able to actually continue to maintain support for that hardware for as long as people are still using it.
As long as there's somebody who's willing to do the work.
There's hardware that's 20 to 30 years old that's still supported in Linux.
It's amazing.
And it's not generic types of hardware. It's not like a standards compliant type of hardware. It's specific hardware. Up until like a couple of years ago, we had support for early 1990s computers. I mean, the systems weren't power enough to run a modern Linux, but
get out the old tape drive.
I mean, the hardware support was there still.
All right, more coming up here in moments. And I did promise we were going to talk about the private cryptocurrencies, why they're better than cash, because the fear was cashless society. This used to be a big fear among certain people in the liberty and or survivalist type communities. We'll talk more about that coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Mother's Day sneaks up and we hit the panic button. We get suckered into online flower giants pitching $19.99 flowers that end up costing $60. Or we grab last-minute produce department flowers that smell oddly of green onions. That tells Mom you don't care enough to send flowers from the Bouqs. That's short for bouquets, and they're bouquing awesome. Bouqs flowers are as unique and special as your mom. They're freshly cut from Bouqs farms, delivered straight to your mom, so they'll last weeks, not days. Bouqs even has farms located on the side of a volcano that produce flowers so gorgeous, Mom will post pics of them and brag about you. And because Bouqs cut out the middlemen, you'll get amazingly fresh cut flowers at an amazing price. Show Mom how much you care. Send her artisan design flowers from the Bouqs. Order today and get an extra 15% off when you enter FTL. That's BOUQS.com, and remember to enter FTL to save an extra 15%. Bouqs.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at Zencash.com. That's Zencash.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll free. Join us on the radio. Our number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. The Skype username is LRN.FM. And believe it or not, in at least some parts of the United States, it is not too late to get your mom flowers in time for Mother's Day. They actually do have same-day delivery available, apparently, in certain markets. I don't know if that means your mom's living in that market, but you can go and find out for yourself over at Bouqs.com. B-O-U-Q-S. Bouqs stands for bouquets. These are flowers that are bouquing awesome, and they're cut from Bouqs Farms, fresh and delivered straight to your mom so they last weeks, not days. They even have farms located on the side of a volcano that produce flowers so gorgeous, your mom will post pictures of them and brag about you. And Bouqs cuts out the middlemen so you get amazingly fresh flowers at an amazing price. Show your mom how much you care. Send her artisan-designed flowers from the Bouqs over at Bouqs.com, B-O-U-Q-S.com. Use code FTL like Free Talk Live. You'll save 15%. That's, once again, code FTL at Bouqs.com. As we continue here. So we were talking about currency, and that led to a discussion about Linux and how I screwed up big time by downloading software from not the official Monero website. Well, maybe it was. I mean, in theory, it could have been a big time screw up. What you're telling me, though, is the odds are it's probably not a virus. Probably, you've never seen
it's not
an infected
I can
system.
tell you it's not a virus.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean there's not some other malicious software that you installed that will do something bad.
Yeah. Well, you said you've never seen an infected Linux system in the whole time you've ever been troubleshooting Linux systems. Yep. So there is that. But if I were, super paranoid, I could just go ahead and reinstall Linux and start from scratch and go at it again.
I would.
You would. Yeah, it's not a necessarily a quick process to get everything back up and running the way it was. But if you want to be secure,
it's not.
That's what you got to do.
I mean, it's probably less risky than on Windows. But
I think I'm going to probably just check the hashes if I can find the original files.
That's not a bad alternative. I don't know if it's going to work. It sort of depends on whether or not this is like they actually built the software themselves, or if it's just a download or like a mirroring type of situation.
Yeah.
If it's mirroring, you should be able to do it. I mean, you should be able to figure out whether or not it's malicious.
But anyway, then I said we were going to talk about private crypto being better than cash, because the original story that started this whole conversation was Australia coming after cash businesses who are doing more than $10,000 deals in cash and basically saying that's prohibited. That is no longer allowed as of, you said, January 1st in 2019.
I believe that was the date, yeah.
So coming soon.
And it probably was, because that's usually what they do. So
yeah. So meaning that cash transactions of over that amount are illegal in Australia as of that time. And there have always been people in the sort of the liberty community or survivalist types, people like that, patriot types or whatever, who've believed that, the mark of the beast is coming, and that, the cashless society is a signal of that. And there's been all this fear mongering around cashless society. And there's good reasons to not want a cashless society, right? Like if cryptocurrency did not exist. So if we're, if it's 2007 and we don't even have the idea of cryptocurrency yet, then the only options you have are the government fiat money in its cash form and in its more traceable check and credit card form. And that's why the government wants to move to a cashless society, and the banks as well. The banks don't want to have to handle the cash, and the government doesn't want to have people being able to make anonymous transactions, which is what cash enables. Cash enables the underground economy, and that doesn't mean just drug dealing or terrorism or whatever. That means the kid coming over and mowing your lawn, paying him in cash.
Kids are going to have to start taking credit cards.
Well, eventually, that's what some of these people want.
The banks won't do business with him because he's underage.
That's a good point. So you've just cut out any young person who's
You've
an entrepreneur.
literally just banned in one fell swoop anybody who is young and being able to pay them.
Right, if you had a cashless society. But it hasn't come to that. I mean, all of the fear about it.
I mean, in some places it has. I mean, look at...
Not completely.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's getting pretty close, though. Look at Sweden and look at India here. India, I mean, they got rid of all of their larger
high-end bills.
Yeah, I mean, I think the largest bill is what? It's under $5 basically.
Now, what's going on in Sweden?
And Sweden, they are... Sweden's interesting. They're not banning cash, and they're not.
What do they have there? The kroner? What is the?
I think I think that might be it.
Okay.
I know what they've done is they've not banned cash, but a lot of banks won't deal in cash anymore. And
really, sorry, we won't take that.
Yeah, they've got I think there's a few different systems they use. Credit cards is one of them, but also like
Krona, Krona, Krona. That's what it is.
Yeah. So I mean, basically. I'll give you. Oh, so I don't think I actually talked about this on air. So this is a great story I have about a customer of ours who is in Sweden, and he is basically as outraged as I am, and you are about how their businesses won't take your cash.
Oh man!
And the government recently in Sweden stopped taking cash for
taxes
for taxes
Wow.
For in this specific case it was for duties that had to be paid in order for the items that he ordered from us to be delivered to him. And normally that's not an issue because most people they'll use a credit card or whatever, or they're but in this case he doesn't even have or no, I think he did have a credit card, but in some cases somebody might not even have a credit card in order to make the payment. So it's a potential issue for other people, but in his case, he ended up saying he's taken a principled stance and will not use a credit card in this case in order to pay the duty. Well, so interestingly enough, the goods are going to be returned to us theoretically eventually, and we will resend the goods out, but we will send them from within. From our UK warehouse.
I see.
And actually part of the problem of why this even became an issue was because he really didn't choose the right shipping method. He intentionally selected our US warehouse, and the default shipping options are UK warehouse. So if he had just selected the UK warehouse, it would have gone out from our UK warehouse, and the taxes are already included in the price of the product in our from our UK warehouse to Sweden. So it doesn't go through customs basically at that point.
Gotcha. So I actually found a story about Sweden. We can talk a little bit more about that, but let's go to Matthew. He's in Louisiana. And then why is cryptocurrency, private cryptocurrency, better than cash? Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live.
Sounds kind of grim, so I thought maybe I could lighten things up with a joke.
Yeah.
If y'all are interested.
Sure.
All right. A gentleman who is a member of the Shire Free Church had died, and he winds up at the pearly gates, and there's St. Peter. He's like, whoa, you really exist. And St. Peter says, yep, sure do, and opens up the gate to let the man in. And everybody inside is having the godly party thing. And then in the middle of the vast expanse, there's a giant cathedral. And St. Peter says, be real quiet around there. And the guy's like, why? Well, that's where the Catholics are. They think they're the only ones up here.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
Thank you, Matthew.
I got that one from a Catholic priest.
That's cute.
Yeah, there's one other thing. This is for you, Ian.
Yeah, Matthew.
What do you think is the building block of society, the individual or the family?
Well, I would say it's probably the individual. That's an interesting question. If you want to expound on that, hang on. We'll talk about it. 855 450 free like freedom. We'll let you answer the question, too, even though he asked me, Chris. So we'll come back with that. 855 450 3733. And also more on privacy when it comes to your financial life. It's Free Talk Live.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun. which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugasalt.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bugasalt today.
Has your body ever gone low blood sugar, feeling weak, shaky, knowing you better eat something fast? We all know high blood sugar can lead to many metabolic problems. At GCNteam.com, we have a healthy blood sugar pack, focusing on the structure and function of stable blood sugar. Find us at GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Nothing feels worse than unstable blood sugar. Call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nesquik. Try Nesquik 4-packs, perfect for lunches and great for kids on the go. Look for it in the juice aisle. Snack time is a great chance to sneak extra calcium into your child's diet without making him feel like he's eating something he doesn't want. Serve up dairy-rich foods like smoothies, flavored milk, frozen yogurt, and string cheese. He'll love the treat, and you'll love knowing how good it is for him. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free and join us here. Our number 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. The Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
We're talking about money, but we're also taking your calls, specifically on the question or the topic of cryptocurrency and private cryptocurrencies, which are hopefully now going to become more of a thing. Seems like there's a little more competition in the area of privacy coins. But why would somebody want to use that instead of cash? We'll talk about that coming up in a moment, as I promised. But first, we go back to Matthew in Louisiana. Oh, and speaking of privacy coins, definitely check out Zencash when you get a chance over at zencash.com. It's one of the newer kids on the block when it comes to privacy, but they're not old privacy tech. They've got some of the best technology out there. That is called Zero Knowledge Anonymity. You can go learn more about it over at zencash.com. And they also, people who are involved in Zencash have an equal opportunity to participate in the decision-making and the governance of Zencash, which empowers stakeholders and makes Zencash less susceptible to third-party influence. They don't have a single point of failure. In fact, there are over 11,000 secure nodes in the Zencash system, making them one of the most secure of all of the cryptocurrencies out there. So they've got some of the best technology, and they've also got the ideas of voluntarism backing Zencash. The currency was created by Voluntarius, and they even wrote that into the white paper. You can see it for yourself, do your due diligence, and learn more about Zencash over at zencash.com. As we go back to Matthew in Louisiana. Matthew, you asked an interesting question right before we had to go to break there, and you asked, what is the building block of society? Is it the individual or the family? And my default answer there was individual. I want to ask Chris to answer it, even though you didn't ask him specifically.
I don't know.
I'd be interested in his answer too.
I don't know. The building block of society. It seems like it just seems like a question that's I don't know if it makes any sense. Like,
okay, so you don't want to pick an answer? It's like,
yeah, it just seems like it's wrong to answer the question. It's like the expected answer is going to be family, but it's sort of like this whole religious kind of mindset, and I just don't know that. I mean, okay, so I would say individual if my religion is libertarian.
Say again, Matthew.
Families existed before religion.
Okay, sure.
And it's an interesting question, and it's one of those mental chewing gum questions. But Chris, I understand that you understand something about Linux.
Yeah.
Okay.
He understands a lot.
Where can I go? Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Where can I go to get a primer on Linux and Linux operating system and software? Because I have like this ancient Windows system. It's Windows 2000 Professional, and it's missing like its DLL32. Somebody stole it, and I'm like, yeah, they broke it in the middle of the night. They stole just that bit of code. So I'm wondering, I'm thinking about switching this system over to Linux, and I'm wondering about the possibilities of doing that. So where's a good place to go to read up on this?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
I'm sure there are a variety of places that have this information, but is there one that you like? Or that you even know about?
Well,
when's the last time you looked for newbie information?
So I think the answer might be Ubuntu.com. There is
Ubuntu?
UBUNTU is how you spell it. .com.
UBUNTU.
UBUNTU. Ubuntu.
It's pronounced Ubuntu. Or Ubuntu. Sorry.
Yeah, it's an African word, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's why I'm not pronouncing. I would say Ubuntu, but that's not correct.
Yeah.
Basically, it's not because I like that particular distribution or anything like that. So that is a distribution. It's a version of Linux, basically.
And there are a bunch of these.
And there's a bunch of
versions.
them. And the reason that I am pointing you to this is because when you go to click the download button for the desktop version, from the menu, there is going to be documentation on how to make a CD or a flash drive.
From which you can then test the system and then install the system.
And there's good documentation for it there. I don't know if that's the case for other distributions. I don't recall.
I think Linux Mint's got it pretty easy too.
Does it? Okay, so Linux Mint is another good one.
These are the two that are generally considered the newbie.
I would definitely say Linux Mint's a good distribution, but I don't know if it has like good documentation on it. Ian is saying it does. So.
I think it does. Like when I look at these things, I look at them from the perspective of what is the new user going to experience at this? Because I'm a technically adept person. I can build a computer from parts. I've got a lot of experience using computers. So I try to place myself in the shoes of what would a new person be feeling like? Would they be overwhelmed with this? Would this be too difficult? And I felt like it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I kind of feel like a lot of times that trying to explain to somebody how to install Linux or point them to a tutorial, your average person is just not going to be able to do it, even though it's not as difficult as installing Windows. It's still more difficult than
burning the CD is going to be pretty easy.
That's the most difficult part, I think.
Well, I mean, not everybody knows how to boot from a CD.
Yeah, I mean, if you know how to do it,
go ahead.
Burning the CD would be difficult for me because
that's what I figured.
In addition to my DLL32 being missing, my CD drives are also missing.
Well, they could probably. Okay, yeah. So what you're saying is you couldn't even install from a CD. Does it have USB drives on it? Because you could always use a USB stick on newer systems and boot from the USB drive. But if it's really old, that didn't exist back in the day.
Like are you just trolling us?
It does have USB port.
Yeah.
And the USB port will hook up to the Wi-Fi, but on every other day,
I think he's
one of the USB ports dies.
Yeah, it might be time to get a new computer. I don't know.
Yeah, go check out www.thinkpenguin.com. We got some that start at $250.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what's the affordable side?
Basically $250 is where they start.
Is that for a laptop?
That's for a desktop, not including monitor, keyboard, or mouse or anything. But you can usually use whatever you got.
I don't need any of that. Right. $250, you said?
Yeah, I mean, it's just
ThinkPenguin.com?
Yeah, just a basic system, but yeah.
You didn't hire him to call, right?
No.
Okay.
No, but I tell you what,
I got too many more important things to do.
That's not bad at all. When I look at the prices at Office Max / Depot, and they're like $350 for your bottom of the line Dell, I'm like, sheesh. Where's these cheap computers people keep talking about?
Now, what kind of parts are these coming with? Are these like Intel, AMD? What's on the inside?
Let me back up a moment. There is a reason it's so cheap. We make no money off of this model.
So wait, you're just doing it to spread Linux, like for the good of?
No, I mean we will make money if you upgrade some of the components and things like that. I would encourage people to do that simply because it is a basic system, and a few years down the road, you're going to want to upgrade the RAM. Otherwise, it's going to start to slow down on you.
So there's room for upgrades.
Yeah, I mean there are even in the initial purchase, so you can select a better sort of version of the same product.
Yeah.
And I would just because it's cheaper to do that than to pay somebody to upgrade your RAM for you if you're not that technical.
That said, though, Matthew, for people that are having problems with a sluggish old Windows system, and everybody knows that's what happens with Windows. The more stuff you load up into Windows, the more the slower it becomes.
Even if you don't do anything, it will slow down.
Yeah, for whatever reason, that's true.
And so will Android, believe me.
Really? I haven't noticed that with Android, but I believe that. But anyway, yeah, so if you do have an old sluggish Windows system and it's like, unusable or whatever, Linux can breathe a breath of fresh air into a system like
definitely.
That, to some extent. But then again, if you don't have a working CD drive attached to it and the USB drives are,
his drive
unreliable,
might be failing too. That might be what the cause of the missing DLL is. It's corrupted.
The hard drive.
The drive is corrupting.
Hard drive may be corrupted.
Yeah, so it might be about to die too.
Yeah, that might be a possibility.
Meaning if you try to install Linux on that hard drive and the hard drive itself is bad, it's
you're going to have
a
really bad experience.
Matthew, check out thinkpenguin.com, and if you do, make sure you mention.
I will do that.
Make sure you mention you heard the owner talking about it on the radio. Thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate it.
Ciao.
You got it, man. All right, so there you go. It's not a tech support show, but as long as it's like a generic question that I think people can relate to, I'm all right with it. If it's anyway, more coming up.
Mother's Day sneaks up and we hit the panic button. We get suckered into online flower giants pitching $19.99 flowers that end up costing $60. Or we grab last-minute produce department flowers that smell oddly like green onions. That tells Mom you don't care enough to send flowers from the Bouqs. That's short for bouquet, and they're bouquing awesome. Bouqs flowers are as unique and special as your mom. They're freshly cut from Bouqs farms and delivered straight to your mom, so they last weeks, not days. Bouqs even has farms located on the side of a volcano that produce flowers so gorgeous Mom will post pics of them and brag about you. And because Bouqs cuts out the middleman, you'll get amazingly fresh flowers at an amazing price. Show Mom how much you care. Send her artisan design flowers from the Bouqs. Order today and get an extra 15% off when you enter code FTL. That's BOUQS.com. And remember to enter FTL to save an extra 15%. That's Bouqs.com, BOUQS.com. And remember, code FTL saves an extra 15%.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Bewildered paralegal Caitlin Levy says that after returning home from work today, it occurred to her that oddly at no point during her day was she harassed, leered at, or made to feel humiliated or physically threatened.
It's weird. Looking back on it, I suddenly realized that not one strange man made a creepy comment at me or an obscene gesture or a sleazy look for like the whole day. How can that be?
The 29-year-old told reporters that even at points in her day when she is traditionally almost certain to be made uncomfortable by at least one or two leering male strangers, not a single such instance occurred.
I actually got to walk from the train to my office and never once catch some weirdo smiling at me or looking me up and down or slowing down his car to yell some shit out the window at me. I felt weirdly safe or something.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free. You can join us on the radio and bring up whatever is on your mind. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We got more than 20 people in the ForkFest chat room. I saw you just send a message in there a moment ago, Chris.
I did.
ForkFest 2018 is coming up, and it is going to be here before you know it. It's just over a month from now. So it's not too late, though, for you to get to ForkFest because there's no tickets. You don't have to worry about ForkFest selling out. because it's pretty much impossible. Even if all of a sudden a bunch of people show up this year, it's the biggest campground in all of New Hampshire.
You're still going to want to register or reserve a spot, though,
you have
right?
to reserve
for
a campsite.
For the campsite,
yeah.
or a hotel room nearby if you're not that kind of.
True. And they do even have a motel on the site as well. So there's motels on this campsite, or there's a hotel down the road or whatever. And then there's RV sites on the campsite, and then there's campsites there as well at Rogers Campground, which is just an absolutely beautiful location. I'm looking forward to going there in just a few weeks for ForkFest 2018. It's the second year of ForkFest. It's a decentralized libertarian camping event, which means that there's nobody in charge except for everybody. So everybody's in charge. You're in charge of your own self. You decide what to do. If you just want to go camp and hang out, camp and hang out. That's easy. If you want to do something that might involve others, like creating an event, then do that too. You can create the event. You can promote the event in the ForkFest forum, which is unofficial. So if somebody else wants to start a forum, they can. There's also the ForkFest chat rooms. There's a couple on our Discord server. There's one on Telegram, which the Telegram one's pretty busy. There's a fair amount. I would say every day it seems like there's somebody new popping into the ForkFest Telegram group. And there's links to all of these things over at forkfest.party. Again, unofficial website. There's nothing official when it comes to ForkFest. Not even the days are official. It was Daryl and Will and I sitting in the studio, and we just kind of decided, hey, let's call it these 5 days, and we put it out there. If you want to show up earlier or stay later, that's completely up to you and everybody else. So there's nobody in charge. There's no board of directors. There's no organizer except for, again, each individual. Go to forkfest.party. It's June 14th through the 18th, the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Perfect opportunity to come check out New Hampshire. If you've not been here, since this whole New Hampshire freedom migration thing's been going on, you've heard us talking about all the cool activism and the libertarian success stories that we've been having here year after year in New Hampshire, and you want to find out if it's real and meet some of the people you hear about on this show, that's going to be happening at ForkFest. We're going to be there broadcasting Free Talk Live from the event every single day, and I'm looking forward to it. We'll see you there in just over a month at, again, June 14th through the 18th. It's 5 days over at ForkFest, F-O-R-K-F-E-S-T, forkfest.party. That's the website that'll get you more information and connect you with the community. In fact, right now on the ForkFest forum, there's a discussion about, well, if we want to have speeches on some campsite or wherever or in different places, how do we figure out who's having what speeches where? So somebody's having they're going to maybe put together a Google Calendar or a Google spreadsheet, one or the other, and then they're going to put that up to where anybody can edit it. And so then multiple people could, in theory, use that. Whether that will happen or not, I don't know, because, again, it's all up to them. So forkfest.party, we'll see you there. Let's see. Toll-free number if you want to join us here tonight, 855-450-FREE like freedom. Okay, so I've been teasing this for an hour, and we still haven't gotten to it. Why, in my opinion, private cryptocurrency like Zencash or Monero is better than cash, because historically people have used cash for privacy, right? If we're not on the air and our camera's turned off, it's on right now. But if I hand you cash and you don't tell anybody that I handed you cash, Chris, and then you hand me a Think Penguin product back, then nobody has to know about that, right? The government doesn't have to know unless somebody chooses to report it. Whereas with credit cards, with checks, there's a paper trail every single time for every single transaction. There's some kind of a record somewhere that the government can then get into, and then they can learn about your business, and they can figure out how much they need to tax you. And so people have historically used cash for a long time for under-the-table deals where, you can hire the plumber and pay him under the table or whatever. That way, it's not on the books. And there's always been, billions of dollars every single year in the economy that doesn't get reported. And that makes the government angry. Like, they want to get a piece of every single transaction out there because they think they deserve it. And, of course, they don't. And, thank goodness for all those wonderful people that are willing to work under the table and that are willing to, work the cash economy. It's those folks that the government wants to get a piece of. They want to stop those cash transactions from happening. And that's why you have banks introducing things like the Visa Challenge, which we talked about. I don't know if you were on that show, but where Visa is challenging businesses to go cashless, and they're like trying to bribe them with a cash prize, well, not a cash prize, but with a prize in order to get them to stop taking cash from their customers, which I think is a terrible idea because Visa's not guaranteeing you the prize. It's just like you might win a prize if you stop taking cash.
It seems like such a bad idea from a business perspective
to stop taking cash.
Yeah, to stop taking cash in many. In many cases. I'm sure there's an argument in certain select cases to do it, but
I'll give you the arguments. The Sweden story that you mentioned, how Sweden is close to going cashless, and I pulled up a story from the BBC about that. I'll give you the arguments here in a moment, but I'll just make my case here for why crypto's better. Cash is dirty, it's hard to handle, and the robbery potential is much higher, right? So
absolutely,
as far as privacy goes, with the privacy coins like Monero and Zencash, you've got privacy. You're shielded. Nobody outside of the transaction knows that it has occurred. That's my understanding of the different technologies. And then there's different technologies behind both Zencash and Monero, and I could not begin to explain them. I don't have any kind of idea of how it works. I just trust in the geeks that they've done the auditing and that they know what they're talking about. So I trust that the privacy is there. And as I said, we've got Monero being used on darknet markets, which again is another seal of approval as far as I'm concerned. For Monero's privacy factors. So you got the privacy with cash. You got the privacy with cryptos that are private. So it's not a question of which one's more private. They're both private. But it's more convenient to use crypto. You don't have to have a wad of cash that you could lose easily. With cryptocurrency, you can have a backup. So even if you lose your phone, if you've got the words, the seed words, if you've got those written down and kept in a safe place, if you lose your phone, no problem. You still have access, if you have your original backup words, to whatever amount was in that account that you thought that you lost. So you've got that extra protection of the potential for a backup, whereas if the cash burns up in a fire, well, that's the end of that. Right? Or if you get a gun stuck in your face or a knife stuck in your back and a criminal robs you of your physical wallet, well, they got all the cash in your wallet.
Or your phone, for that matter.
They rob you of your phone, but you can have a security code on the phone.
Right.
And then after the fact, or, again, you can go and restore that later on and then transfer the crypto out and transfer it to a new wallet. No problem. So your safety, your security is better when it comes to cryptocurrency. The convenience is there because you don't have to have a bunch of cash. You can leave the country with cryptocurrency. Yeah. Whereas if you have cash, they're going to start asking you questions. You can't leave with more than $10,000.
I'm still curious what happens when you go to leave the country and they ask you how much you're taking out of the country, like with you, like cash or whatnot, or valuables. Mm-hmm. Do you declare it? Is the currency where
you're not moving the currency? If you have your if you want to talk about not lying to the police, right?
Yeah.
You're not lying because if you leave the country and they ask you how much value or valuables or whatever you're taking out, you can say I have $100 in cash or whatever, however much cash you might have brought with you. You can claim that because you are moving the cash, but the cryptocurrency is on the cloud. It has never moved except from going from one account to another in that ledger. It's just an indicator of which account it happens to be in at any moment.
You're right, and that's it's true, I guess, but it seems
and
so
if you're really
bizarre.
worried about it, just send the keys via
the question then
email.
becomes where is that so-called cash stored? Are you stored in the United States? Is it stored overseas? Is it stored everywhere?
No place.
Who
in every
has
place.
jurisdiction?
Yeah, it's everywhere. I mean, the distributed ledger is in thousands of places at any given moment.
Does that mean any government anywhere could force you to hand it over?
Well, I mean, the governments can do whatever they want. I mean, they've got men with guns who can put a gun to your head, and then you get to decide what to do in that situation. So, I mean, if you're dealing with a rogue agent, then you've got problems.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around. I mean, obviously, if they want to take it from you, they gotta come to you and take it from you. And it's sort of like cash, right? They have to come and they have to take it from you, as opposed to if it's in a bank account, they can just go to the bank
and they'll do whatever they're told.
Right. They don't even have to go to the bank. They just have to send a little letter off to the bank and magically it's gone.
Yep.
Right? With Bitcoin, you actually have to come, or cryptocurrencies, you have to actually come and take it from somebody. And even then, they might not be able to get it because it's a password.
Take what? How do you know I even have anything?
Right, exactly.
It all got lost in a boating accident recently. Right? I mean, they don't know. And I'm not saying you should lie to them. I'm just saying
No, just remain silent.
Anything, right. Remaining silent is always the best. But anything could have happened to your crypto. You could have donated it all, the previous week to some agency or whatever. More coming up here. Hour number 3 is on the way. This is Free Talk Live.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of May 11th through the 13th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.80 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,325 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $31, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,580. Antiwar.com reports one major argument against the United States withdrawing from the P5+1 nuclear deal with Iran was the impact it would have on U.S. relations with the other parties to the deal, including European allies. This appears indeed to be the case as Europe scrambles to strike back against the U.S. measures, with the U.S. talking new sanctions and U.S. officials ordering European companies to stop doing business with Iran. The European Union is already discussing legislation that would effectively block the U.S. from enforcing those measures. This legislation is believed to echo the 1996 legislation the EU used to block U.S. sanctions on Cuba from preventing EU business ties. Since the Iran deal was signed, EU companies have been scrambling to secure lucrative infrastructure deals. The United States largely prevented its own companies from reaching such deals and has tried to keep EU banks from financial deals that had nothing to do with the United States. Europe was annoyed at this before, and now that the United States isn't even a party to the deal, they are likely to be even less willing to brook U.S. interference. This is likely just the start of a broad rethink in U.S.-European relations. German Chancellor Angela Merkel warned on Thursday that she can no longer count on the U.S. to protect them. She added this is time for Europe to take its destiny into its own hands. Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at Zencash.com. That's Zencash.com. UPI reports the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park will close on Friday because of potential steam and ashfall from the summit of Kilauea volcano. The National Park Service said in a statement, due to the possibility of a steam-induced explosion at the summit of Kilauea due to the receding lava lake and ensuing ashfall event, plus southerly wind patterns forecasted for Friday, the majority of the park will be closed Friday until further notice. We will reopen when it is safe to do so. Most of the park will be closed except for the Kahuku unit, which will be open for normal several hours. The temporary closure of the Hawaii's Volcano National Park comes after the Kilauea volcano has been releasing toxic steam and lava for several days, causing widespread damage in the area. While Kilauea is normally an active volcano, the recent increase in activity has some experts predicting a large explosion soon. Hawaii Volcanoes Observatory Scientist-in-Chief Christina Neal told the Honolulu Star-Advertiser that scientists believe a small earthquake near the summit of Kilauea caused a large rock fall into the crater, which led to an explosion near the surface of the lava lake. Neal said, "I think it's our best estimation that this is the first of perhaps more events like this to come." For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the city of Los Angeles agreed on Thursday to pay $2 million to settle a civil lawsuit over the fatal police shooting of a homeless man in 2015 that went viral in an online video and fueled a U.S. debate on police tactics, according to a lawyer for the man's family. Dan Stormer, a lawyer representing the family of Charlie Africa Kunang, said the settlement came shortly after a federal jury in Los Angeles found that 2 police officers in the civil suit were liable for the death of the 43-year-old man. Stormer said in an interview, "The defense made an offer which we accepted. It was $2 million. The 8-person jury found that Officer Francisco Martinez had used unreasonable force against Kanang and that his superior, Sergeant Chand Syed, had failed to intervene. The jury cleared a third officer, Daniel Torres, in the deadly March 2015 incident. A spokesman for the Los Angeles Police Department said it would not comment on a civil suit. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office had previously declined to charge the 3 officers with criminal charges. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Hamburglar urges a Senate subcommittee to rubble. This is Doyle Redland reporting. Hamburger advocate and convicted felon Hamburglar denounced a prison system he called rubble as he testified before the Senate subcommittee on penal reform. Hamburglar, convicted in 1998 of breaking and entering a McDonald's hamburger franchise in South Beloit, Wisconsin, and currently serving a sentence of 3 to 5 years, made this impassioned plea before being interrupted by U.S. Senator Bob Smith of Rhode Island.
Certainly there is room for improvement in our prison system, but I would hardly call the current situation rubble.
After delivering his message to the subcommittee, Hamburglar was promptly placed in chains and returned to prison to serve out the remainder of his sentence in solitary confinement. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want as we launch here into the third hour of the program. You dial toll free. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. There's the Discord on-air call-in line room over at discord.lrn.fm. And joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
We've been kind of focused on money and technology here tonight. Of course, government money is old technology. Cryptocurrency is newer technology. And we were just talking about the differences between privacy coins with the world of cryptocurrency like Zencash and Monero versus the privacy aspects of cash. And in my opinion, the privacy coins are better than cash because, well, not only do they have the privacy aspect, but they're more convenient because you don't have to carry cash around. You're less likely to suffer, from robberies and things like that. You can't get shortchanged when it comes to, a privacy coin because you're sending the exact amount that the person requested. And there's other reasons too. But let's go to your phone calls and thoughts here. And then maybe we'll talk about the Swedish government and Swedish society, which has gone to mostly cashless, like a surprising amount of cashlessness over in Sweden. And you had brought that up originally, but I pulled up a story here from the BBC. But first, Sarah is on the line in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yes, I really
you know what? I'm going to predict and believe that we're going to have a openly homosexual congressman from Albuquerque area. It's called the District 1 area. But I know that he's going to win the primary, and I know that he's going to win it in November. So he just came out of the closet just recently. So
really?
So that I'm going to vote for him in the primary if I can. And then I'm
now, this isn't anything new. I mean, there have been homosexual Congress people before, right?
Is this a conservative area? No, it's not, right?
No, not really. I mean, the whole state of New Mexico tends to be blue, but there might be some conservative areas.
It seems so bizarre that, like, to hear about people just coming out now, like, it's...
Yeah, I mean, are you saying, Sarah, that this is like some sort of brave thing this politician has done? I mean, it's 2018.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that when he was running for councilor, he's our current city councilor, and I could never. He had a picture of with a woman with a baby, and I was thinking that must be his wife when he was running for city councilor. He was just talking. He was just a community person. So I was very confused. I thought that he was married with a son, but. Okay, so then now he came out and said that I was a homosexual since when I was living in Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, most of them are. Most people are homosexuals from the day they were born, from the ones I've talked to. And Chris, I mean, is that true for you? Like, you've always known you were into guys, right?
Since I knew I was into guys, sure. Right. I mean, since I knew I was into
something,
yes.
It was guys.
Yes, yeah.
So I was quite bewildered why that picture was, and he kept it a secret. But still, you know what? I'm still going to vote for him because he gave me. He worked very hard. He attended like 50 ART meetings, and he's for the environment. He's like a very progressive Democrat, and that's what appeals to me. Whether he's a homosexual, straight, whatever he is.
So why is it even worth talking about that he's homosexual?
I just kind of wonder, like, what brings this up exactly?
You know what the point is? Well, the media is hammering him, and that's why I know the
about what?
Yeah, for what?
Well, he said the F beep, and he said the NRA. I will, they could go to hell, or I don't know. He said that he bleeped it. Is that I hate the NRA, F and NRA. I'm going to have gun control, and we need people that represent us in the Congress.
So he's not getting roasted because he's gay. He's getting roasted in the media because of some controversial statements.
Right. So he said the F, but he bleeped it in his commercial.
Yeah, I appreciate you not saying it. Thank you. Right. So it really has nothing to do. The controversy around this guy has nothing to do with the fact that he's homosexual. It has to do with his opinions on issues.
Well, no. He said that he used the F word and he bleeped it out.
Okay,
and then
you're repeating yourself. I'm just confirming here. It's not because he's homosexual. He used the F word. That offended people. I think that's good that, at the very least, the fact that he's not gay, or that the fact that he is gay is not the issue here. Finally, maybe we've moved along from people being offended by that kind of thing.
I don't know. It sounds like we haven't, because she brought it up in the first place. Like,
well, yeah, like you said, why is she even bringing this up?
She hasn't answered that question. What this whole thing was about, because I was under the impression that she was going to talk about homosexuals or homosexuality or something along those lines.
Well, she mentioned that he is a homosexual and he came out.
But why
recently.
mention that? Like, that's why I don't understand.
Well, the whole thing is that every time they talk about it, right after what they say, it's like, well, he's gay, he's homosexual, and they take all the callers, and then he's a faggot. The next caller is either homosexual, and that comes along with it.
So now you're talking about talk radio's audience. You're saying the talk radio, conservative talk radio, some of the callers are mean about that?
Oh, yeah. So then if they
that makes more sense.
Callers, if they're going to bash him, if they say they're going to bring up and rub the homosexual part of it, they'll let him ramble on. They'll call him a faggot, because they're talking about the commercial, the F word.
Yeah.
Well, but you know what? That's how I know. That's why I say that he's going to get the primary, that he's going to win the November. When somebody gets attacked to that degree, why are they attacking him? Because they know that he's going to get the primary.
They're scared. You might be right about that, Sarah.
I think I see where she's going with this.
You might be right about that.
Yeah, I could definitely see a certain political crowd basically like going out there and voting, for him because he's gay or whatever, or
or against him because he's gay,
or against him. And the same thing happens.
Which is the stupidest way to vote.
Right,
but,
right. It's the same thing happens with people of color and people, women, frequently. That's a terrible reason to vote for somebody or not vote for somebody.
Sarah, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Toll free number 855-450-FREE. Let's go to Mortified Penguin. He is in Virginia on Skype. Hello there.
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I was just listening earlier to your Linux talk. I'm a pretty much a Linux noob. I run Linux Mint too. I've been running it for like 6 to 10 months, something like that. And I was actually having some trouble with the Monero GUI when it was upgraded. And I was asking everybody about it, and I wanted to call into one of these shows. And eventually I found it fixed, and then I was scrambling recently. Now we've been talking about it, that it could be after that conversation that you had on the Discord about that it could be a phishing, it could be like an infected thing to steal your private keys. Mm-hmm. I just did some forensic work and found out that I did get it from Build Monero, but apparently there is a version that works up until today. Now I can't get it to work.
Okay, wait. You did get it from the official site, or you didn't get it from the official site? I missed that.
I did. I went through my history and found out. I found out where I got it from.
All right, that's good. But even then, some of these sites will say you need to check the hash on files these days, just because they're worried about some hacker putting a bad file on their FTP server or whatever.
It's happened with something before that I downloaded. It was actually Linux Mint itself actually had.
So the hashing is actually more to do with corruption in the download process than it has to do with security.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's they're probably telling you to hash it just to make sure, because think of it this way:
just to make sure it downloaded completely.
If you download like an ISO, which is like a CD basically,
you can burn.
and then you burn to a CD or you move it to a flash drive, if it's corrupted in the process of downloading it, you might have a program that doesn't run correct after you've done the install.
Right. So it might install completely, but not really.
Yeah, not
completely.
Work right. And if it crashes a lot or whatever, that could be the cause.
That makes more sense because in theory, a hacker could replace the file and replace the text of the hash. So like you wouldn't. No. For listeners that don't know, this hashing thing is a thing that sort of, I don't know how to describe what it does, but it looks at the code, it looks at the program, and it comes up with a very short series of letters and numbers.
It's like a fingerprint. It identifies the file, and if you change that file and you run...
If the file changes even 1 byte, it'll change the hash code.
Right, exactly.
Later.
And so one of the reasons the hashes are useful is if there's, these especially with Linux and ISOs and things like that, that when you download the operating system, you can download it from anywhere around the world. Right, because it's freely distributable and
it's
copyable
all over the place.
So you don't know if a particular mirror is malicious, but if you go to the main source for that image, you can get the hash.
And they say, here's the hash,
and you'll know.
And you confirm that.
Yeah.
Penguin, I don't know if you had anything else you wanted. Were you calling about something else tonight?
Yeah. Well, I did want to say something about Monero. You can get some other builds, maybe some updated builds that are unofficial, not unofficial releases on getmonero.org.
All right.
And so
good to know.
That is a possibility. But I wanted to ask about VPNs.
All right, stand by. More coming up here. Free Talk Live.
Such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Mother's Day sneaks up, and we hit the panic button. We get suckered into online flower giants pitching $19.99 flowers that end up costing $60. Or we grab last-minute produce department flowers that smell oddly like green onions. That tells Mom you didn't care enough to send flowers from the Bouqs. That's short for bouquets. And they're bouquing awesome. Bouqs flowers are as unique and special as your mom. They're freshly cut from Bouqs farms and delivered straight to your mom. So they last weeks, not days. Bouqs even has farms located on the side of a volcano that produce flowers so gorgeous, Mom will post pics of them and brag about you. And because Bouqs cut out the middlemen, you'll get amazingly fresh flowers at an amazing price. Show Mom how much you care. Send her artisan design flowers from the Bouqs. Order today and get an extra 15% off when you enter FTL. That's BOUQS.com. And remember to enter FTL to save an extra 15%. Bouqs.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. Also, Discord's on-air call-in line room for you is there over at our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. And several of the Free Talk Live co-hosts, including myself, are on that Discord at various different times throughout the day. It's there 24/7, so you can chat with other Free Talk Live listeners before, during, and after the show, and it's free over at discord.lrn.fm. As we continue here, it is almost time up for Mother's Day flower purchasing, at least if you want to get it before Mother's Day at this point. And at this point, only people in certain markets can get same-day delivery on Saturday. So if you are totally a last-minute procrastinator, you can still get the FTL discount over at Bouqs.com, B-O-U-Q-S, like bouquets, Bouqs.com. Use code FTL to save 15%. Your mom's going to post pictures of these flowers and brag about you because some of them are so beautiful. They're even coming from farms on the side of a volcano. Now, not all of them come from volcano farms, but you can actually look when you're ordering the flowers. It will show you the farmer's name and location and like information about that farm. So if you're really interested in like sustainable farming and supporting farmers around the globe, this is a way to do it. And also get your mom some really nice flowers. Now, if you are, if mom is not in one of the Saturday delivery areas, because again, it's very limited where you could get Saturday delivery for tomorrow, or I guess, yeah, that is tomorrow. It's pretty limited. So you might have to get her Monday. It might be a little bit late since you've waited this long. So if you are a procrastinator, you understand. You might have to call mom on Monday and apologize.
No, I have a question. If I get these flowers, does that mean I don't have to talk to my mom?
can't tell
What's
you
the
how
rules
to have
on that?
a relationship
No.
with your mom. I mean, if you're getting flowers for your mom, presumably you would want to talk to her at some point. But I guess some people might be in a position where they'd be willing to buy their mother flowers, but not willing to talk to her. And you can actually include a note, by the way, with Books. So
there we go. Solves the
if you want,
problem.
that does all the talking for you.
I think so too.
BOUQS.com, code FTL, like Free Talk Live, save 15%. Again, if you are waiting till the last minute, it is now basically the last minute if you're listening to us live here on this Friday night edition. Books.com, code FTL for 15% off. All right, let's go back to Mortified Penguin. He had another question, and it's a great night for technology talk because, Chris, you are a tech, I don't know, guru is the right word, but you certainly know more about Linux than I do. And Penguin, you had a question related to VPNs?
Yeah, I actually upgraded my VPN and switch companies, and I mean I have a general idea what they do, what they're for, and I use it
A VPN is a
extensively.
virtual private network for listeners that aren't familiar, and this is a way for people to, in theory, obscure what they're doing on the internet, meaning that if you're connected to a VPN, at the very least, your internet service provider shouldn't know what you're doing. But of course, the VPN provider, then you have to trust them to not be logging the things that you're doing through their connection. And of course, which ones are trustworthy is a whole other question. So you made a switch.
And you know, the other thing that it does is it mixes your traffic with other people's traffic. So right now you might have a dedicated IP. Well, when you have a VPN provider, they mix your traffic. So you have one IP address for multiple people.
Oh.
So yeah, it's harder to track people and things of that nature.
I didn't know that because I figured when I've used VPNs, I've connected and gotten different IP addresses each time I've connected.
But
so
there's multiple users on
you're
the
saying
same
they're
IP
sharing
address.
that IP.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Generally speaking,
Of course,
unless you have
if
a
they
dedicated
wanted to
one.
log you and track you, then they could, right? Like, so you still have to trust the VPN.
You're still
provider.
trusting the VPN provider, but the sites that you're visiting, that's who's going to have a harder time tracking you.
Now, of course, you could always connect to a VPN and then connect to Tor once you've connected to the VPN, and that, in theory, should also give you an extra layer of protection.
Yeah, especially if you do the setup right. It actually is very interesting because if you do the setup right and you have a router in between, so this is a product we sell actually, where the VPN software runs on the router. What happens is if a malicious party, say, wants to identify you, and they exploit your system basically to do so, to find out what your real IP address is, all I end up getting is the VPN provider's address. And if they're doing this en masse, by the time they get around to like figuring out who it is, chances are there's no logs left for them to go after you.
Penguin, I don't know if you even asked your question yet, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, actually, I just kind of wanted a rundown of from the man himself, you know, like the kind of the benefits of using the VPN, and I guess that's basically it. And you can change your location, I guess, where you're coming from. So I know the service I use does have some servers that integrate Tor, and you can do like you can go through 2 different servers and stuff, but it's a little more of a complex system. And I guess the point is the whole thing is does the VPN provider have logs in my particular provider is in a very that's how we say neutral country.
Yeah, I was going to say that's another important question is where is the office of the VPN provider? Because if it's in the United States, to me, that's like red alert, look out. Even if they claim they don't have logs, what are they going to say if the FBI comes in there and, you know, or the CIA or whatever, and they're you need to log this?
It's actually interesting. So there's no law in the United States that mandates logging. There is in Europe, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean there's a law. I'm saying if the feds come in there and they say to the owner of the business, you know, we've got a warrant. We want to get the logs for this customer.
A warrant doesn't actually do that. A warrant would be for them to seize
something that
already exists. So they can't make you do something.
They can't
make you create a product or to log or anything like that.
Really?
Yeah. That's totally outside of what they're.
It still wouldn't surprise me if they tried to intimidate.
They have. I mean, but that doesn't mean it's been successful. They tried to do that with the Apple. They tried to force them to put a backdoor in, and they finally gave up because
Apple actually
refused.
Supposedly.
and they did try to also do it with there was an email provider where they tried to force them to hand over
You're talking about LavaBit?
Encryption keys, I think. Yeah,
Well, in that case, they did. We followed that story. We actually had Ladar Levinson on the show.
Oh, really? Interesting. That's awesome.
He was at a crypto conference, actually, and that's where we met him.
Oh, cool.
But in that case, they were asking him to hand over something that existed, right? The encryption key, but the way he handed it over was brilliant. He printed it in like 4-point font. And, of course, it's incredibly long and like pages or whatever of length.
You know what was kind of interesting in that case, I think, is the encryption key wasn't evidence of anything. So it really shouldn't have been subject to seizure in the first place.
Well, whatever. He turned it over just in a way they weren't expecting. So he complied with the order and then shut down LavaBit.
He should have made objections at a certain point, and he didn't, from what I understand. And he didn't have a lawyer when he went in there. And I think that was the biggest mistake. Yeah.
Well, he managed to pull it off. Like, he gave them that and then shut his business down.
Yeah. I mean, he did get away with he did get away with it, but it cost him his business.
Sure, but at the same time,
nobody else is going to do that.
At the same time, he made a name for himself off of that. I mean, to some extent.
Oh, absolutely made a name for himself.
The publicity that he got was incredible from that, and he's relaunched something since then. So
he has,
sort of like how Kim.com.
I have to wonder how successful that was relative to the original business, because the original LavaBit was popular.
Yeah, I don't know. I suspect he still had his database of users. So
I don't know. I don't know what the alternative is. Like, what is his new business? I don't even know what that is, and I know it existed, right? And this is the problem with publicity. We know who he is, but we don't necessarily know his new business.
But I'm not seeking whatever it was, right? So that's why I didn't retain that data. Hey, thanks, Mortified Penguin, for the call tonight. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. I suspect it's something similar, just a new business.
Yeah, I believe it is.
There's more coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
This is Fred.
Hi, I'm Fred.
Fred's a repeater.
I tend to repeat.
Fred has a business.
I do have a business.
And a problem. Fred repeats the same tired advertising over and over, and now it doesn't work.
Over and over.
But Fred is about to see a vision.
I'm seeing a vision.
Advertising on the Genesis Communications Network is the smart way for Fred to reach his potential customers with the most affordable national advertising rates, period. Get started today with GCN, the Genesis Communications Network. Just email advertise@gcnlive.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
The warning signs.
At first, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me, about my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
If you're tired of the two-party system but want to support a principled Libertarian Party, check out the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire at lpnh.org. That's lpnh.org.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial on in here toll free and join us. We've been talking about technology, cryptocurrency, old money like fiat money, and various different aspects of those things here tonight on Free Talk Live. Joining you is Ian.
And Chris.
And also, I want to make sure you know about $6shirts.com. In fact, I am wearing my $6 shirt, one of my $6 shirts here in the studio tonight. I'll see if I can get it on the webcam. Yeah, there it is. So, it's Snake Plissken. Anybody who's ever seen Escape from New York, or, I mean, probably fewer people have seen Escape from Los Angeles, but old Snake Plissken, the character with Kurt Russell in classic action films from John Carpenter. This is one of the myriad of really cool, like, pop culture, movie-related shirts that they have at $6 shirts over at the number $6shirts.com. They got a huge selection of just some really brilliant, fun, and awesome shirts in a variety of different categories. Not just, pop culture movies, but also there's video games, there's sports, there's politics. So all kinds of stuff that you can find and you can wear and wear with pride over at $6shirts.com. You can save 10%, by the way, by using code FTL over at $6 shirts. And they do accept Bitcoin. The company is run by a libertarian, so really there's no reason not to go over there. It's almost a guarantee that you're going to find something that you think is pretty cool and would be happy to wear over at $6shirts.com. That's the number $6shirts.com. Again, code FTL for 10% off over at $6shirts.com. As we continue, we go to Beaker in Idaho. Beaker, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Chris.
Hey, fellas. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I called in actually to talk to ask Chris a couple questions about the router that he sells on .com.
Yeah.
But I did mention here, you mentioned $6 shirts. I actually designed a shirt probably 10 years ago for them, and I sent the design. They rejected it, unfortunately. I thought it was great. It had a picture of the Death Star on it, and it said the Death Star was an inside job. It turns out I was right, but they rejected it, and I just printed them in myself. But Chris, I wanted to ask you real quick. I know you guys sell the VPN-enabled routers. I'm in the IT industry, and I was wondering, do you guys base that on pfSense, or what sort of open source do you base that on?
Oh, that's a good question. So it's actually based on a distribution called LibraryCMC, or I should say, it's not based on it runs a distribution called LibraryCMC. It's based on which is, or I should say, it's a fork of OpenWRT, basically, but without the proprietary components. So
these are what you're talking without. Let me try to decode what you're saying here. You're talking about router firmware that is different than your typical Cisco or Linksys or the typical brands out there.
Yeah.
You're talking about open source router firmware that is that's what you're discussing.
I'm talking. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm talking about going to an extreme length in terms of security and privacy and things like that.
Yeah.
Because basically, OpenWRT and basically all your open source firmwares have proprietary components that are needed in order to make the routers work.
I see.
So the routers we sell actually don't have those proprietary components. We strip that out.
But they work anyway.
they work anyway because we have the sources for the Wi-Fi components and various other pieces so that we actually know there's no backdoors in it. You don't know there's no backdoors in a typical router that you install OpenWRT or pfSense or some other firmware on. And basically, we fund the development of LibriCMC explicitly for this reason. So,
and your partner is involved in LibriCMC, so it's kind of in-house almost.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a separate project, and other routers are supported that we don't sell. It's just they're harder to get your hands on.
But he's literally in your house.
Yeah. He lives with me.
So there you go, Beaker. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more of a feeling for how solid of a product it is under the hood.
I think it's it sounds great. I just have one follow-up question, and then I will let you guys go. So you guys do with that router, you do provide a VPN service optionally that you can subscribe to monthly. Where is your VPN host located at?
Good question.
There multiple hosts?
So there's servers in a bunch of different countries. So I couldn't tell you, specifically which server.
But it's one particular provider that you recommend?
No. So we provide VPN service.
You do
as an option with the router. Now there's also directions for other VPN providers. It's more complicated to set it up though. So if you're not technical, I would just go through us. If you're technical, there's a lot of other excellent providers out there too. So.
But y'all have servers in other countries, is what you're saying, for your VPN service. I gotcha. Beaker, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. That's Chris is talking about Think Penguin, which is his business, where you can not only get these VPN-based routers, but also Linux hardware, laptops, desktops, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
ThinkPenguin.com. You know what? I had this in my show prep a few weeks ago, and we never mentioned it, and it's just so short, I think it's important to get out there. This is from WikiLeaks. And for listeners who are unfamiliar, WikiLeaks, of course, is probably one of the most important news-related organizations in the world. I mean, they receive leaked information from various different governments around the world, and they put that information out there. So they are the conduit for global leaks on governments and corruption and things like that. Really important work, right? Like, they're so important that they've targeted the governments of the world have targeted Julian Assange, who is the founder, if you will, of WikiLeaks, the head of the organization, the visible person, and he's been hiding out in a Ecuadorian embassy in Great Britain now for something like 6+ years. And now a headline from WikiLeaks at WikiLeaks Shop on Twitter says their official store, right? So if you want to buy like a WikiLeaks T-shirt or something,
I already did. I bought a bunch of stuff. Just last week, I bought a 1984 clock for the studio.
Right on. I personally have not been on the store. I didn't know that it existed until now. I've been a supporter of WikiLeaks generally. We certainly like talking about what they do here on Free Talk Live, but I didn't know they had a store. And until recently, they were using Coinbase for their shopping platform, and Coinbase is one of the biggest mega corporations within the world of cryptocurrency. They started as a Bitcoin wallet, and they an online Bitcoin wallet where they control your keys. So, from day one, Coinbase was a bad idea.
Yes.
As far as you holding your cryptocurrency in a secure way, that is not the way to do it. But it is a way for a lot of people who got started. Coinbase is, it's sort of the introduction level access into the world of cryptocurrency for the total newbie. There's a lot of people who start with Coinbase, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, just so long as you get off there eventually and get your Bitcoin somewhere else.
They're an exchange too, so I don't necessarily know that it's a bad place to start from. You got to get it from somewhere if you're not getting paid in it, right?
That's true.
It's not. It doesn't seem to me like a bad place to start out. If you're. I mean, again, not everybody I would start out there. Like if you're in New Hampshire, I certainly wouldn't start out there.
Yeah.
Because we just have so many other options. But if you're, if you're in South Dakota or California or New York or someplace else.
Well, thankfully there are other alternatives like Uphold.com, which also can connect to a bank account. Because one of the things Coinbase had for a long time that nobody else did was easy connection to a bank account. And so for people who are willing to reveal their private information, then that's an easy way to get crypto, is if you connect your bank account and then you ACH money into Coinbase, and then you can buy crypto with that. And that's easy. but it's also completely on the record. And so all the other companies that compete with them on that now, like Uphold.com, obviously they're on the record too, but they're just not as evil as Coinbase, at least not yet.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've actually purchased through the internet, so to speak. Isn't there a some site where you can go and purchase from other individuals?
Local Bitcoins.
Yeah, I don't think a Local Bitcoins is what I'm thinking of, though, because Local Bitcoins, you actually physically go and meet up with somebody, right?
No, that's an option.
That's an option.
So
okay, do they have, like, you can enter an amount and then it tells you what bank account you can deposit it into?
That's, I would say, the bulk.
Okay.
I would say that's the bulk of what happens on Local Bitcoins.
Yeah, see, that doesn't seem like a terrible way to do it to me.
So there's some privacy with Local Bitcoins, or there can be privacy.
Yeah.
But there's also risk of fraud, so you have to be careful with strangers coming into bank accounts and giving out routing and bank account information and things like that. But as far as what happened with Coinbase, according to WikiLeaks Shop on Twitter, announcement: Coinbase has blocked the official WikiLeaks Shop from its platform without notice or explanation. And then they actually did get an explanation, and they posted that. And Coinbase will share what Coinbase said to WikiLeaks to dump them. Coming up here in moments, and your calls and thoughts are on the way. 855-450-FREE if you want to make them and join us on the radio here on Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com, or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Moments remain. We got enough time here. If you want to jump in and join us, our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We've been talking about a lot of tech-related stuff tonight. Now WikiLeaks under attack from Coinbase, as Coinbase has shut them down. No longer will WikiLeaks be able to use Coinbase to process cryptocurrency transactions on their WikiLeaks store. Joining you in the studio tonight, by the way, it's me, Ian.
And Chris.
Also, I do want to make sure that you know about Liberty.menu. It is a great website where you can go and list your freedom-friendly business. Maybe you haven't really come out as a liberty-friendly person. I mean, obviously, thinkpenguin.com is liberty-friendly. Everybody knows that because they're listening to our show. But if you want other people who don't know about your business, who are libertarians, to find out about you, well, you got to put it out there. And the way you do that is by going to Liberty.menu. It is a website explicitly for libertarians and voluntarists. If you don't believe in freedom, don't go to Liberty.menu. You aren't welcome there. But if you do believe in liberty, if you do believe in the non-aggression principle, for instance, then you are wanted. Your business should be listed, or businesses. If you've got different things that you do as an entrepreneur, list them all. There's no limit to what you can put up there at Liberty.menu, and it's free to use the site. So again, there's no reason not to do this. Business owners, events coordinators, there's an events category. Digital content creators, there's a digital content category. So different types of things that you can create can be put up there for other libertarians to find out about. And if you're not a creator and you just want to find liberty-friendly businesses to give your business to, then this is where you go to find them. Liberty.menu, it's been around for not quite a year in its current form, and I'm really happy with it. I think it's a great-looking site. I'm glad that we're partnered up with them here at Free Talk Live. So check them out, Liberty.menu. You can use code FTL in your profile, and you get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. So have you ever been on Coinbase, Chris?
I don't know I've ever had an account with them. I have seen like Coinbase's interface, I think.
By somebody else using it.
By somebody else using it, but I don't even know if I've ever interacted with it personally.
Well, don't bother, because they're one of the worst out there. They are they're kind of like the big bank. I describe them as the big bank of cryptocurrency. They're not actually a bank, but they're a big company. They've been around forever, and they're very, very state obedient. In fact, they sent this notice to WikiLeaks. This is an excerpt from their email that they sent. Hello. Thank you for your interest in Coinbase. Our primary goal is to make digital currency safe and secure for our customers. Well, first of all, digital currency is already safe and secure in most cases.
As long as you don't use Coinbase.
By default, right? Coinbase is a regulated money services business under FinCEN, which is the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, an area of the federal government. They go on to say, and as part of achieving this goal, we are legally obligated to implement regulatory compliance mechanisms. Upon careful review, we believe your account has engaged in prohibited use in violation of our terms of service, and we regret to inform you that we can no longer provide you with access to our service. We respectfully request that you follow the on-screen instructions presented when you log into your Coinbase account to send any remaining balance off-site to an external address. And that's the end of the excerpt. Now, what I found interesting here was that they actually gave the reason why.
Really?
I mean, they didn't say which prohibited use, but they actually said your account. We believe your account has engaged in prohibited use in violation of our terms of service, and that's why we can't keep going, because FinCEN.
Okay.
When they cut me off 2 years ago with a similar terse letter.
Now you're talking about Coinbase specifically.
Coinbase.
Okay.
When they cut me off and they're by proxy the Free Talk Live account, because Free Talk Live accepted Coinbase for our AMP program, because Coinbase, to their credit, they actually had kind of a cool thing where you could have a subscription through Coinbase. And normally you can't do subscriptions with cryptocurrency, because subscription services like the AMP program, where you're using PayPal or credit card, when you do PayPal or credit card, you're giving us the authorization to pull funds from your account. But cryptocurrency doesn't work that way. Cryptocurrency, generally, only the customer can authorize to push funds from their wallet to the recipient. So subscriptions, you can't pull with crypto, so usually subscriptions don't work. Well, Coinbase made it so you could do a subscription thing because they hold your funds, and so they could authorize that.
And that's the problem with Coinbase.
It is one of the problems with Coinbase, but it was a nice thing to have for us for that time. But they cut me off. And in my case, when they sent me the email saying we're cutting you off, it was just like, we don't want to do business with you. Come get your money. So in this case, they actually tried to tell them at least something about you're using some sort of prohibited use. Now, they don't say what that is. I mean, what could they possibly have been doing? Is selling WikiLeaks T-shirts a prohibited use? A clock? Is that prohibited use?
I have to say, what's amazing about this, the way that the whole FinCEN thing works, and how the government treats these businesses and the banks and similar, it doesn't even matter if there's been a charge against a
criminal charge,
right? Any kind of criminal charge against any kind of business or individual. FinCEN and the government goes after the banks and, in this case, a business, and they say, cut this person off, or cut these people off, or cut this type of person off. And they write years ago, not even years ago.
Sometimes they cut you off just because they're afraid of what the government might do.
And well, that's true. But I don't remember. I don't know if you remember this, but a few years ago, the government wrote a letter to all of the banks, and it said basically anybody who's been involved in any kind of sex-related work, cut them off.
Marijuana businesses too.
They may have, but the difference is the sex businesses were not illegal. We were talking about legal sex businesses,
like a porn shop or something like that.
Yeah. Or somebody who's been a stripper in Las Vegas or one of those areas in Nevada
where
somewhere.
It's legal.
Yeah, where it's legal.
Right.
And yet these people have had bank accounts for 20 years.
Cut them off.
They had to be cut off because of this letter saying, if you don't, we're going to put our thumb on you and you're going to go bye-bye.
Yeah. And I've had bank accounts shut me down without explanation whatsoever. I was finally able to get an explanation from a credit union. And the reasons why a lot of this stuff happens is because of fear of the regulatory agencies. Not because the agency has come there and specifically said, we want you to target WikiLeaks.
Right. And they don't, and this is the thing, the government doesn't, when they send these letters out, they don't explicitly say anything. They implicitly, is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
They suggest, or they word it such where it's like it's clear what you have to do in order to get their good graces. But nonetheless, it's not like these people have committed any crimes.
If they did, they'd charge them with crimes.
Right, exactly.
So there's your latest on WikiLeaks. And as I mentioned earlier, Facebook apparently is exploring the creation of its own cryptocurrency, because everybody's got to have a crypto now that would allow its billions of users around the world to make electronic payments. According to people familiar with the plans, unidentified sources saying they're very serious about it. They started studying blockchain almost a year ago when a member of its corporate development team began looking at how the social platform could use the emerging technology. At the time, that person was the only employee at Facebook devoted to studying the blockchain, which is, of course, the digital and decentralized ledger that underpins cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Her work was thrust into the spotlight this week when Facebook announced their vice president in charge of the Messenger app would lead a new team to, quote, explore how to best leverage blockchain across Facebook, starting from scratch. So apparently there's a dozen Facebook employees now working on blockchain, and they're sort of just talking of that this is happening. What it's going to end up looking like, I don't know. And I, of course, quit Facebook at the beginning of this year, and my life has been
Congratulations.
better. Yes, it has been much better as a result. Technically, I still have the account there, so I haven't deleted the account from Facebook. But then again, you can never really delete your account from Facebook anyway. Even if you tell them to delete the account,
Yeah, probably
it's
not.
still there on their servers, and you can actually go and undelete it at any time that you want. So it's meaningless. But it's been good for me. I've had more productive time as a result. And I always notice now when people are scrolling Facebook, I'll like walk into the middle room here at the LRN studio, and almost every time Daryl's on Facebook, just
Really?
scrolling down Facebook. And I know I used to be like that.
Oh.
I know I used to be like that. I was so addicted to it. And so I don't think a cryptocurrency is going to get me back into the fold. But one thing is true about Facebook: they already have a systems for payments in there, so you can like link a debit card to your Facebook account and use Facebook to pay people. So they're already in the space of payments. So it wouldn't surprise me if they were serious about launching a crypto. And of course, they've got the installed user base.
Everybody is these days. Even Telegram is.
Telegram canceled their ICO.
They did, but they still have the cryptocurrency. And my understanding, it's all private investment now.
I haven't looked into that. That sounds interesting. I wish we had more time to talk about it, but we're out of time for tonight. Maybe another night. Chris from ThinkPenguin.com. Thanks for joining me. I'm Ian Freeman with Free Talk Live. We'll see you online in the meantime. Check out our Twitch at twitch.lrn.fm.
You know how annoying it is when someone keeps stopping mid-sentence as though he or she were asking you a series of questions? Avoid doing that. It sounds unnervingly tentative, and it imposes upon the listener to help you complete the thought. And if you're a job seeker, this alone could be a deal killer. An effective communicator sounds more confident. Complete the thought. Avoid making the listener impatient. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook. Survivalspeech.com.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
The Torchwood Report is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of May 11th through the 13th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.80 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,325 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $31, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,580. Antiwar.com reports one major argument against the United States withdrawing from the P5+1 nuclear deal with Iran was the impact it would have on U.S. relations with the other parties to the deal, including European allies. This appears indeed to be the case as Europe scrambles to strike back against the U.S. measures, with the U.S. talking new sanctions and U.S. officials ordering European companies to stop doing business with Iran. The European Union is already discussing legislation that would effectively block the U.S. from enforcing those measures. This This legislation is believed to echo the 1996 legislation the EU used to block U.S. sanctions on Cuba from preventing EU business ties. Since the Iran deal was signed, EU companies have been scrambling to secure lucrative infrastructure deals. The United States largely prevented its own companies from reaching such deals and has tried to keep EU banks from financial deals that had nothing to do with the United States. Europe was annoyed at this before, and now that the United States isn't even a party to the deal, they are likely to be even less willing to brook U.S. interference. This is likely just the start of a broad rethink in U.S.-European relations. German Chancellor Angela Merkel warned on Thursday that she can no longer count on the U.S. to protect them. She added this is time for Europe to take its destiny into its own hands.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at Zencash.com. That's Zencash.com.
UPI reports the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park will close on Friday because of potential steam and ashfall from the summit of Kilauea volcano. The National Park Service said in a statement, due to the possibility of a steam-induced explosion at the summit of Kilauea due to the receding lava lake and ensuing ashfall event, plus southerly wind patterns forecasted for Friday, the majority of the park will be closed Friday until further notice. We will reopen when it is safe to do so. Most of the park will be closed except for the Kahuku unit, which will be open for normal hours. The temporary closure of the Hawaii's Volcano National Park comes after the Kilauea volcano has been releasing toxic steam and lava for several days, causing widespread damage in the area. While Kilauea is normally an active volcano, the recent increase in activity has some experts predicting a large explosion soon. Hawaii Volcanoes Observatory scientist-in-chief Christina Neal told the Honolulu Star-Advertiser that scientists believe a small earthquake near the summit of Kilauea caused a large rock fall into the crater, which led to an explosion near the surface of the lava lake. Neal said, "I think it's our best estimation that this is the first of perhaps more events like this to come."
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at